Oh, that's not what. Okay. if it's gonna go wrong, it's gonna go wrong, right?
That's right.
Let's see if I can fix that real quick.
It's for a good cause. We just gotta keep telling ourselves that.
Can't even see Bieber
Done.
now.
There we go.
Here, Bieber.
All right. So we fixed that. All right. All right. So we are live. Welcome to the Rainforest Alliance charity stream for Small Terrible Dragonborn on Twitch. I am joined tonight by B, Amy,
Hello.
and Biba.
Oh.
And I'm mixing character names and player names. I'm so sorry. I'm horrible.
This is already confusing. It's great.
So we are playing tonight for charity. So you can go to what is it? Rainforestalliance.org org and donate to help the rainforest as it is having massive trouble being burned. I think like 20% of the earth is covered in rainforest, and we are quickly losing the lungs of the planet. So donate to the Rainforest Alliance and help us prevent that from happening. And as we are preventing that from happening in charity, we'll also be playing to prevent that from happening in Faerun, because tonight's adventure, as you will find out, is based in the Sacred Wilds. So with that, I'm going to kind of introduce the story after we introduce the players and the characters. So, B, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and your character, we'll start with you.
Me B or Bieber B?
I'm looking at the characters, so
Cool,
BB.
My character's name is B. She is a barbarian gnome. She's very cross about the fact we're not taking care of our forests. It's not a good thing. It's not okay. And someone needs to do something about it. And if that involves a bit of murder, then we're going to have to go and murder some people. I'm sorry.
Oh, I love them already.
She's a very polite gnome. She does not swear, but she's very fudging cross at all this going on. Doesn't go into rage. She gets very cross.
All right. And Azrael, if you'd like to introduce your character.
Yeah, so I'm playing an Astamar bard named Azrael Lightbringer. She I'm new to playing a bard. She's gonna be here to. She's quite moralistic. She likes to tell stories to sort of get people on side. And she believes in all those good virtues of truth and justice and light. We'll see how we do to inspire and persuade our way through today.
All right. And our savior, Biba, has joined us last second. So if you'd like to introduce the character that you're playing this evening, Biba.
Yes. If you listened to this morning's game, you'll know him. You'll probably have either love him or hate him because he's quite out there. My boy Jitter. He's an Avarial college. Oh my god! Can you tell I really like playing Bard? School of Adventure Wizard. He is. He just is really happy to be here right now. Just in the zone. Loves. He wants to make his friends happy. He wants to make everyone around him happy. And oh my god, is that a squirrel?
All right. And I think we possibly might be getting our other player here, so we're going to hold off for just a second. Maybe. If Andrew can hop in, we might be getting an Andrew.
And, I guess while we're just talking, Avariel are a winged subrace of... They're a pretty unearthed arcana. I don't know if that's...
It's absolutely fine. Unearthed Arcana is official released material. Even
It is indeed.
so, that is absolutely
Oh, and
fine.
hey, Joe, while you're waiting on Andrew, not to interrupt, but you may just want to bump up Amy and Sephi's volume just a little bit.
Amy and Sephi, gotcha.
Yep.
Let's get them.
Everyone else is good, but
Amy. Okay.
okay. Techmaster out. I'm out.
Thanks, Techmaster.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Thank you, Technomancers. We love you.
All right. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and introduce the story. And when Andrew pops in, we'll kind of let him introduce his character, and then we'll kind of go from there. So, the Sacred Wilds are Faerun's richest and most varied biological reservoir, containing several million species of insects, plants, birds, and other forms of life, many still unrecorded by the Druidic Order of Ahuli that have made this place their home. Krista, a relatively young elf, is a druid of the Ahuli and an apprentice of Maggie, the eldest and highest-ranking druid in the order. The druids of Ahuli once lived in harmony with the other races of Faerun, but believed them to have lost the light after having been driven away from the Sacred Wilds by a dark spirit, and as such have lived here without contact from them for almost 4 centuries. A dark and twisted Ahuli member named Bolserno has recently left the Order and traveled deep into the Sacred Wilds to release an evil darkness called Ardiente into the world. Ardiente quickly begins to regain his power and corrupt the lands of the Sacred Wilds, spreading a dark curse upon the lands. The Ahuli have all but been destroyed as an order, very few of them left to fight, but Krista has called out to a group of adventurers that she believes can help the Ahuli fight off Ardiente and Bolserno and save the Sacred Wilds and the world. So, as we begin the game, you are all in a boat. It's a little bit of a ferry coming into the stronghold, the settlement of Belem. It's an Ahuli stronghold on the, what is it called? A delta, the delta of the largest river in Faerun. And this river leads into the Sacred Wilds. So it's kind of the starting point for anybody that wants to get into the Sacred Wilds has to enter through this settlement of Belem. So you guys are on the boat and you're approaching the shore, and I'll let you kind of RP to kind of introduce the characters to each other as you're coming ashore of the settlement of Belem.
I don't like boats. This isn't my speed. We're gonna get somewhere dry soon.
I would hope so.
Oh, I can see trees. Oh, I need trees. Oh, land would be good.
Azrael reaches out and pats B on the back a little bit. Just gently.
Thank
Yitter
you.
seems
Gives you a nod.
Uh-oh.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Didn't interrupt.
Okay, as you guys are on the boat and it's kind of rocking back and forth, causing B to kind of feel uneasy, you turn around and notice that there is another person in the boat that you had not noticed up until this point. So, Andrew, if you would like to introduce your character to the rest of the group.
Sure, yeah. You see a tarnished, platinum-colored, very thin, dragonborn male, sitting by himself, just kind of meditating. And he's very well dressed, very disciplined. Seems to be just taking in everybody else around him, and even though his eyes are closed, he seems to have a pretty good idea of everybody around him and what's going on. He's just quietly listening to everybody. And yeah, I hate to say like it's pretty boring, but I mean he's just kind of like you said, like pretending is not a good word, but at the same time he's also, you know, I'm trying to search for the word. I'm sorry, I can't, it's like on the tip of my tongue.
That's all right.
Inconspicuous.
Okay.
I don't know.
So as you guys approach and the boat kind of lurches forward as the front end of it
If someone could pick me up, that would be great. They say look at the horizon, but I can't see it from down here.
Azrael just like grips you around the waist and hoists you up into the air.
Oh, thank
Arms
you.
shaking a little bit. She's not very strong.
I've got a giant great axe that's half my weight as well. Thank you very kindly.
Yeah. You can hear the waves kind of splashing up into the sand as you get off the boat, and in the distance, about 30 feet in front of you, is a tall, slender, dark-haired, short bob-cut woman who is wearing what appears to be a large, singular leaf designed and wrapped around into a full-covering tunic, and it kind of wades down so that you can just barely see her feet underneath it.
Wow, that's a beautiful dress you're wearing.
Oh dear!
Oh, just ignore her. She's a bit seasick.
I didn't get any on you, did I, love? I'm really sorry. I don't do well with the oceans. They're not made for us folk.
Oh, well, I have a pill that might be able to help you a little bit with that. It's made from some of the stuff that we have around here. Perhaps I will give it to you before you take off on this adventure.
That'd be grand, Tarduk.
It only lasts for a couple hours, though, so...
Are there gonna be any more boats in the next couple of hours?
It depends on what route you decide to take, I suppose.
Hang on to it in case we find a boat.
Oh, Ed, where are my manners? I'm so sorry. My name is Krista, and thank you so much for coming. She looks at everybody in the party.
We're happy to be here.
That's all right. Whenever someone's doing evil in the forest, it just gets my goat. It does. Worse than boats.
Yes, well...
We're here to bring light wherever we go.
That is desperately needed in these times. There is, as you know, a evil that's just spreading, and it's concentrating, and there's a large obelisk about 20 miles to the south of here. And if this evil reaches the obelisk, it will gain its full power and be fully released, and it will just consume the entire world.
Well, we can't
That's
have
not
that.
very nice.
Yes, well, we should probably get going. I will lead you. If you come with me, I can lead you down the path towards the obelisk, and we can take on this evil together.
Sounds very much like we need to go with you if we want to live, so let's do that.
I
Yes.
trust you, new best friend.
Thank you. Sometimes it's a bit hard getting people to trust the Order of Ahuli since we've been so disconnected for so long.
Well, you know what they say. Any stranger's just a friend you haven't made yet.
Yes, that's a good way to look at things. And she's going to turn around and start walking through the town of Balim. And as you're going through the town, you look around and you see that this used to be a very beautiful place. There are all kinds of buildings that are built into these massive, what look like redwood trees. And they're not carved into the trees, but built around the trunks from the parts of the forest that they could use to kind of build these organic-looking tree houses. But they have since become very derelict, left to rot along with the forest. And she walks past a larger tree that seems to have a house that she's trying to keep up with it. And in the distance, you can see the river kind of wrap around behind the house. that you came in on, and the river is pretty wide at this point, but you can see it begins to narrow down further south, and there are 3 boats set up.
Oh God. Oh.
The quickest route is to take the river, but we could also walk and take the path. It's up to you guys.
B
Decide to take
B
the river.
takes a pill out and just downs it. The thing is, love, I'm only 3 foot. I know I'm not exactly very speedy on my legs, so it's probably best not to hoof it.
Okay, so
You're a brave friend.
Yes, Doc. You need some maintenance men round here, don't you? I've got a brother could do some of this for you. He's looking for work.
there's not a whole lot of us left. It's just me and Maggie, and she tries to take care of the trees, but it's a lot for one person.
You gotta look after your trees, love.
Yes. They generally take care of themselves. It's just, taking the vines and taking care of the dust and the dirt that builds up. But yes.
Azrael's kind of inspired by the landscape around her and pulls out her lute and begins to strum idly on her lute as we continue onwards.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's very nice.
As you're strumming on your lute, go ahead and make a performance check, and let's see
Awesome.
how inspiring
First roll.
your song is.
All right, performance. So I can roll and roll 20, right?
You can roll and roll 20, or you can roll physical dice, whatever your preference is.
Okay. So if I type roll performance.
If you have the character sheet and the lute is or the performance is set up in there and you've set everything up, you can just click on the word performance and it will automatically roll the dice for you.
Awesome. All right.
Yeah.
So if I click here, there we go.
Now we're learning. Hey, we have another face.
Wow.
Hello.
Start.
Yeah.
Start.
A 28. That is a great roll. So you start strumming on your lute, and the atmosphere of the environment, the trees, the birds, the insects that you can hear, the wildlife, and then this beautiful melody starts to come out and just echo through and reverberate, and everybody feels inspired.
Hey.
Oh.
So
Yay!
you're all going to have a D4 of Bardic Inspiration. I'm giving that to you for free, because that was...
Okay, cool.
Yep, a D4. You're all gonna.
Awesome.
You're all
Yeah.
gonna. I know she
that's
said
very
she didn't say she cast Bardic Inspiration, but it was
Yeah,
it
this
just
is true.
fits. So
And it's party wide.
Awesome.
yeah.
Yes. So this goes towards any roll
Skill-
of a d20 that
Yep.
you would normally make.
Skill check, skill save, or attack roll. Yep.
Sounds good.
So as you guys get down towards the beach of the river, and she gets towards the boats, you see these enormous roots kind of move in the sand. You can see them kind of move through, like if you've ever seen the movie Tremors. Just the ground just kind of shifts and shakes, and one of them bursts up out of the ground and wraps itself around Krista and kind of is holding her upside down, immobilized, and I need everyone to roll initiative.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh, that is a nat 1.
Oh no!
Oh, don't worry, I have a natural
It's
one as
just
well.
normal for you, love. I don't realise we're in battle. Is this normal? Is this how your trees act?
Jitter got an 11.
Jitter got an 11. Is it Orphi or Orphe?
Orphe.
Orphe.
That'd be a 6.
Ooh, alright. And Azriel?
I got a 21.
Oh, alright. 21. Alright. So it's going to be Azriel, Jitter, Orphe, and then B. And the way I do my nat ones is you don't lose your turn, you just go last. So you're not going to lose your turn. All right. So as the roots burst forward and wrap around Krista and kind of hang her dangling upside down, there are actually 3 roots, one on the left, one on the right, and then the one that's kind of pulled up and wrapped itself around Krista. And Azrael, you see that happen. What are you doing?
I'm gonna call out to Krista. I'm still sort of strumming on my lute, and I'm gonna call out to her and strum more of a battle tune, and give Krista the inspiration she needs to escape from this root. I say, Krista, be free!
Yeah. All right. So your
she's
lute
got a
goes
D8
from a really
towards her
nice,
escape roll.
okay, really nice, beautiful melody to like hard rock. Gotcha.
Precisely.
Okay. And Jitter, what are you doing?
Okay, so she's still caught up in these vines, right?
Yeah, she's still kind of struggling.
Okay. I think. See, I don't know how strong these vines are, so I think I'm going to already just got to 9th level, and I'm already going to use one of my highest spells, my 1 5th level spell, and I'm going to cast Bigby's Hand, and I'm going to see if maybe that can pry it apart.
Okay. All right. Let's see. So what is Bigby's Hand? What does that do? Do you have a spell?
It is a 5th level evocation. You create a large hand of shimmering translucent force in an unoccupied space that you can see. The hand's object that has an AC 20 and hit points equal to your hit point maximum. It has a strength of 26 and a dex of 10. The hand doesn't fill its space when you cast the spell, and as a bonus action on your subsequent turns, you can move the hand up to 60 feet. Grasping Hand. The hand attempts to grapple a huge or smaller creature within 5 feet of it. You use the hand's strength score to resolve the grapple. If the target is medium or smaller, you have advantage on the check. While the hand is grappling the target, you can have a bonus action to make them crush it. I don't want to do that. I just want to try and grapple them out of the vines using that.
Okay. Yeah.
So it would just be an advantage strength roll with +8 because of its high strength.
Okay, go ahead and roll that strength.
Okay. So that's going to be a 17, 19, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 to go.
That hand just kind of like finds its way in between the vines and just kind of rips it apart, and Krista kind of falls down on her back. She looks up at Azrael and rock on.
Yeah.
So you have freed her from that vine. Orphe, you are up next.
Are we still in any immediate danger, or is it like 2 roots, right?
There are now, there's 2 roots, and then the one that was pried was just pried. It's still there, and it's just kind of waving back and forth.
All right, I will, I guess, move into a defensive position, but not really attack. If we've already pried it open, I'll just stay in a defensive stance and kind of help out.
Okay. Do you want to
help action?
Do you want to ready an action like with a trigger? So like if it attacks somebody,
yeah.
Okay.
I'll just ready an attack action for any sort of danger. Now that we're out of immediate danger, yeah, you'll just wait and see for any hostile movement.
What weapon do you have to attack with?
A quarterstaff.
Awesome.
Beating sticks with sticks. Awesome.
All right. My go?
Yep.
Okay, I feel like Bee's going to be very confused by this because it's a plant and she doesn't attack plants. She's here to defend plants. So can I do an insight check to see why it's attacking?
You can certainly roll an insight check, yes.
This is not going to go well because it's another nat one.
Another nat 1?
I don't know what's happening here, but yeah, it's a nat 1.
That dice needs to go in jail.
Yeah.
I get what you said there because it froze. What did you say?
I said you need to put that dice in jail.
Yeah.
2 nat 1s in a row. Yeah, so you're not really able to discern any kind of motive or anything. It's just a vine coming out of the ground, and it's wiggling and has wrapped itself around Krista and then been pulled apart. So you're really not able to discern why it's doing what it's doing. But you will note that this is not natural. This isn't something that happens all the time.
Okay. Oh, I think I'll be kind of like, right. I'm not exactly very crossed by this because you are a plant, but I am very confused. So I think I'm gonna have to tell you you're a very naughty plant and give you a whack with my great axe. So,
Bad plan.
So, okay, that is a 19 plus I get plus 8 for attack. So yeah, that's a 27.
Yeah, that hits. Go ahead and roll your damage. Now, are you using the sharp part of the axe and trying to cut into it, or are you using the dull, like, just
I'm
bopping
kind of
it?
trying to bop it and be like, "You're a very naughty plant. Give over." Stop that. That is 21 with the flat of the axe.
I'm sorry, you said 22?
21.
Wow, yeah. You bop that root, and the one that you bop, you see it just kind of... It just goes limp
Sorry,
and just...
you are being very naughty. I don't like doing this.
The other two you see kind of straighten up, and then they start wiggling again. Like they're kind of connected. You kind of put the two and two together, that when you whack that one and it just goes, the other two stand up and then they wiggle again, like it's all one piece. And at that, it's going to... Well, that one's kind of stunned and down, so the other two are going to swing at... well, you're standing next to it, B, so you're going to get attacked, and then... Orphe, you said you're ready in action, so you're going to have advantage on this defense. Okay. So it is a 14 to hit on B.
That's not gonna not get better. That's not gonna get better.
Okay. So I'm going to call her B, and then I'm going to call you BB.
If you just okay, from here on in, I will only respond to Jitter, the character.
Okay,
make life
Jitter.
easier.
All right.
Oh my god. I'm so sorry.
That's all right. Okay, so that was a 14. Did not hit you, B.
Nope, mine's an
Okay.
18. Ah!
And
Oh,
then
you naughty plant.
Orphe, that's a 17 to hit you.
That just hits, yeah.
Okay. So that is... 1, 2, 3. That is only 6 damage, and it's bludgeoning because it's just whapping you.
Alrighty. And I will use my ready to attack action and hit him back.
Yep. No, did you... I have to roll
I just
disadvantage.
readied
I'm
one.
sorry, I have to roll disadvantage because I told you that you had advantage. Okay, so that's a 16 to hit you.
That doesn't hit, no.
Okay, so you don't take that damage because
Okay.
you were ready and prepared. So go ahead and take your ready to attack action.
Alrighty. That will be 19 plus 8, I believe.
Oh, yeah, you hit that root.
Oh, sorry, that'd be a plus 6. Be 25.
Yep.
And
Only
I will-
25.
Only.
Yeah, you hit it.
And for 5 points
you.
of bludgeoning damage. Not very much.
That's all right. That is enough. That is enough to thunk that root, and you see the remaining one kind of stand straight up as this one just limps down. Somebody's got some air coming through their mic.
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Me, I don't breathe.
Undead.
Vampire.
All right. And that means Krista's gonna stand up, and she, you notice that she's kind of wobbling a little bit. She's kind of scooting herself back away from the plant, and she has a very worried look on her face.
What's going on, Krista?
But that's gonna bring us back up to Azriel. There is one remaining
So,
root that is kind of wiggling.
Does it look like is it nearer to anyone in particular?
It is closest to the boat and still Krista. It's the one that you had grabbed
okay.
Krista.
That I tried to help her escape from.
Yep.
All right. Let's see if I can pull out a spell here. All right. So, Azrael trained under some wizards for a short time and has some very unique spells for a bard. She's going to cast Magic Missile at the remaining tentacle.
Okay.
Are you a
let me
college
just
of
pull
law
up
bar?
I am indeed.
Yeah. Okay.
So she's going to pull that one out. So I believe this will do. So if I'm casting it at first level, it'll just be the 1d4 plus 4.
Yep.
Plus 1, sorry. Force damage. So, cool. 3? 3? Ah, okay, cool. So the 3 at the one boy. So I'll roll 3d4 here. Oh, pardon me. I have to actually roll to hit first. Oh, pardon me. We'll use that damage though if I do hit. Oh, pardon me. No, magic missile's automatic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hey, good one. All right, so ignore the d20. So that's 7 plus 3 is 10 damage.
So you cast your magic missile, and three bright bolts of light just erupt from your palm, and it hits this root, and you can kind of see the light just like get sucked into the plant, and it leaves this charred look on the edge of the plant as it just falls over.
She's looking quite satisfied with herself after that one.
And you are out of combat, so you can roleplay.
Nice. Azrael will go up to Krista and she's like fallen on the ground, right?
She's kind of laying down on her butt, and she's kind of like propped herself up, and she's got a look of concern on her face. And as you approach her, you can see that there are 2 puncture wounds on the leaf, and she is kind of bleeding a little bit.
Does anyone know anything about medicine?
No.
We got an injury over here.
If I can
There's
hit
some
it
skill.
better, I'd be good. But otherwise, not really. Sorry.
I can
Well,
you take a look if you want.
Slap
go for it. Have a look.
I'm not proficient in medicine, but I can make a check if need be.
Untrained medicine, yeah.
Yeah.
Krista, do your plants normally do this kind of thing?
No, they don't normally attack.
Hang on. What do you mean they don't normally attack? There was an emphasis in that sentence in a very strange place. What do they normally do? They're plants, right?
Well, yes, these are very common here. They're very docile. They are very venomous, and she looks down at her puncture
Oh, no.
wounds, and I
Well, that's not great.
yes, I don't know if I'm going to be able to take you where you need to go. I think I'm going to have to stay here and tend to this wound.
Not gonna lie, love, you weren't great in battle. That might be for the best.
she looked.
Gee, that's forward of you.
We're a very straightforward people, as Forrest knows, you know? It's just how we are. It's not rude, love, it's just how we are, you know?
Yes, well,
You're gonna die?
whatever the case may be, you're going to want to take the river since you've decided to use the river. Take the river down to Skull Mountain. And
Oh, sounds like a delightful place. Okay, then.
yes,
Great.
Nothing could go wrong on Skull Mountain.
and you're going to want to climb Skull Mountain, and at the top of Skull Mountain you'll see the obelisk, and there is a trail down the mountain to the obelisk. You will want to get there before Ardiente reaches the obelisk. Otherwise, this will all be for nothing.
Right then, folks, let's get our cardio in, I suppose.
We have a boat.
Yes, there are actually 3 boats, so you can decide how you want to divvy that up, and if you all want to go. Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of you, so at least one person will have to share.
I'm very small. I'm okay to go with someone.
Or these boats are big enough that you could all take the same boat. That's completely up to you.
I'll volunteer to be in the same boat as B, given that she's not coping well with the seasickness and she might need a friend.
I climb in and just grab onto the side like, ready? Let's do it! Healthy feet, yeah, beastie.
I'll grab a
I'm just
second one
gonna-
just in case.
Okay.
Just strumming quietly on a harp to calm your nerves.
I've already taken this pill as well, so I'm just like,
Yeah.
let's hope the elven magic works.
So you took the pill, and you do feel a little bit warm as you swallow it. You're still a little bit nauseous. It's kind of, it's a very weak, like, Tums. It's real weak, but you do feel a slight effect.
Oh, well, I'm not as hungover as I was earlier anyway, so that's good.
So we've got...
IBS is taken care of.
So we've got Orphe in one boat, Az and B in the other boat. Where's Jitter gonna be?
I think he'll take the third boat, and I think he'll just be humming a tune as he's paddling along, or however this boat goes.
Okay. So you guys climb into the boats in those separate boats, and you kind of push off, and you're into the river, and you can feel the current start to take the boats already. It's a very slow, steady current at this point, but the movement of the water does take the boats and start to move them down the river.
I'm matching the strum of my harp like along with the kind of the rhythm of the river.
Okay. So
Very nice, that love. Very calming, actually. It's soothing.
So I need to know what order. Who is in the lead, who is in the middle, and who's taking up the rear?
I'll take the lead.
Okay. So Orphe is
Yeah,
up
we can
front,
go towards the middle, I think.
Yeah.
and then Jitter's in the back then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Staring straight at Jitter in this really disconcerting way as a kind of like focal point to stop me vomiting, but it looks like I'm just very angrily just staring like, I hate you.
I think Jitter sees this and just starts like, I think he's probably the worst focal point because his name is Jitter.
Yeah, I didn't think this was
So
understood.
like he just can't sit still. So as he's paddling, he's just kind of like humming this tune to himself and kind of bobbing from left to right. And I think it's just making it worse. And when he notices the death player, he just goes like, "Oh, you're like Aldrea. She's one of my friends. It took a while for her to become my friend, but it's okay." And then he just starts realizing he's babbling and just goes like, "I should probably be paddling."
This might be worse than the ocean now.
So as you
Okay,
guys...
the light will guide.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, that was it. It's
Okay.
okay, the light will guide us.
Yeah.
Yes, ironically enough, as you guys are going down the river and it begins to widen to the point where you can just barely make out the tree line on the left side and the tree line on the right side, we're talking probably about a mile wide, this river at this point. You're kind of right down... going right down the center of the water. The sun can be seen right almost dead center in the sky to the south where you guys are headed. So you guys are ironically traveling towards the light.
Azrael just nods as if, of course it would be that way.
How far we got to go, Duck? Are we nearly there?
Orphe, as you are in the lead, I need you to make a perception check.
Sure. That will be a big 11.
All right. So as you're kind of taking the lead and you're rowing down, you're not quite sure what you see, but you see some kind of movement in the water ahead. It's almost like ripples that don't match the current.
I will at least signal to the rest of the group behind me and point forward, not making any noise. Kind of giving
Can't
a
look
shush.
right now.
Okay,
I think
so
there's something in the water. I'll point towards these ripples. Does it look like something in the water is coming upstream?
you're not quite sure. It does look like the ripples are going against the current, but you can't really see what's under the water causing that.
This thing's really go down fast.
Okay.
So like the current is flowing, and you can see the current. You can kind of see the bubbles or the ripples that are going down south, where and then there's this ripple. It's kind of stationary, but it's kind of bubbling. Like the current is kind of coming up to it, and then there's like this bubbling ripple in the water.
How far away?
At this point, it's about 30 feet. You're traveling at about 5 foot, per second. You're traveling at a pretty decent click.
As far as I can, I'll just prepare. I mean, if I can't see what I'm up against, I'll just kind of brace myself and keep my focus on it.
Okay. As you're approaching it, you get to about where you're about 10 feet from it. You can see in the water underneath that there's a rock that goes deep into the river. It's a huge rock, and this is just like barely underneath the water, and that's what's causing the ripples.
Just a rock?
A rock.
It appears to just be a rock.
I will let my guard down and pass the rock.
Okay, so you kind of maneuver the boat around the rock so you're not up on top of it.
Yeah.
And seeing that, B and Azrael would also follow around, and then Jitter would follow around the rock. And
I try to pat the rock on the way past. Just give it a pat.
yeah,
if I can reach.
It's just underneath the water, so you could stick your hand in the water and.
Oh,
just
okay.
kind
If
of
it's
tap
under
it.
the water, nah. I'm busy playing my harp.
Okay.
Touch the water, love. Water's bad.
So you guys make it around this rock, and Orphe, as you make it around this rock and you look off into the distance, you can see that was just the first of many. As the river begins to display some sort of rapids up in front of you.
As I see the rapids approaching, I'm gonna try and I'll strum my harp and sing an encouraging song to Orphe to guide us well through the rapids. So take a D8 of bardic inspiration.
Thank you.
It can be used within the next 10 minutes to add to any D20 roll you make.
Sweet.
I think I'm looking
I won't put that to
dead
use.
behind because I'm looking at Jitters, so I'm just like, how are we looking, love? Is it going all right? To Azrael, just like, is it clear ahead? Are we nearly at shoreline?
Yeah.
I'm busy singing ahead to Orphe, so I just kind of like continue singing.
Okay.
And that means it's good. Nice, easy ride.
Well, Orphe, that's the perfect time to get that bardic inspiration, because as the water starts to get really rough, I need an athletics check to see how well you maneuver your boat in the rapids.
13.
All right.
Are you adding your bardic inspiration to that one?
Negative.
D8.
Thank you. That will be 15.
Excellent.
Thank you.
It's a good thing you had that bardic inspiration, because 15 was the DC.
Yes.
So you see him, Azrael, as you're paddling and steering your boat. You kind of see him kind of brace himself and begin to paddle strongly and maneuver the boat. And you're able to see him. He kind of struggles a little bit at first, but then finds the current and just kind of follows along. And
trying to get in that good, like, what do you call it, slipstream that he's causing for us. Like,
yeah.
get
So
our boat behind.
as you see him kind of going through and doing that, you have to roll in athletics, but you have advantage because he's leading the way.
Yes. Okay, cool. Should I roll that, or would you like to be?
I would be steering from behind, but I do have pretty good athletics. If you want me to give it a go.
Do it. My hands are on the harp. Ding 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 ding.
I think B's just like, oh, it's got bumpy, and just decides to stick her great axe in the water to try and steer to make it stop. Okay, that is good.
You're rolling with advantage.
With advantage. Okay, so that is gonna be a 17. What was the DC?
15.
15.
Great. I won't do my bardic inspiration then.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you stick your great axe in there.
Slower, you beast. Oh, blooming water.
And as you're focusing on that, and it's getting really bumpy, I need you to roll me a Constitution save.
Hold it in me! Don't puke on me now.
Oh no.
That is an 11.
Yeah.
No, hang on. Constitution is a 6, so no, it's not an 11. It is a 15.
Okay, so you get. I'm good. That's where you're at.
I swallowed it. It's fine. I swallowed it. It's good. We're good. My axe is wet. It's fine.
Okay, you guys make it
Hold
through.
it in, B. Hold it in.
Jitter, I need you to make me a athletics check.
Okay. Oh. Okay. Oh no, that's a 3.
And then we lost Jitter.
It's a 3.
Oh no. Okay, so B, you're facing backwards and you're looking at Jitter, right? So you can see
Yeah.
Jitter's kind of just talking to himself and babbling. He forgot to paddle, and the boat just kind of into the rapids and then gets smacked into another rapid and then gets smacked into another rapid. And
Oh, that's bad. Don't do that.
Wouldn't if I could.
Jitter, your boat gets flipped upside down, and you I need you to roll a strength check to see if you can hold on to the upside down boat as it's going through the rapids.
5.
A 5?
Can I've got some javelins. Can I stick one in the water and be like, grab on?
Yeah, absolutely. So B throws her, or not throws, but shoves her javelin down and says, grab onto the javelin, and you get to roll your strength check with advantage to see if you can grab onto that javelin.
Okay. 18.
Yep.
Hey.
All right. So you're able to
That's
grab
Don't
on.
drown. Don't let water defeat you.
So B, you have Jitter just holding on to the javelin.
Can I try and pull him into our boat?
Roll a strength check.
Hey, I'm good at this.
I shuffle back and make space, still playing the harp.
He looks all. He's a winged elf, so his wings are all like molted and everything. Well, not molted. You know what I mean. He looks like a wet bird. And he
I'm gonna
shakes
roll
up
my
a little
bardic
bit.
on this because I didn't do super well. 17.
Yeah. You're able to just kind of pull him up and get him in the boat.
What race are you again, Jitter?
I think it's a elf something elf.
I'm an Avariel. He's a winged
Avari,
elf.
yeah.
Okay, so you're
Avari.
like twice my size as well. Like, oh. All right.
Those muscles really, that work at the gym really paying off here.
A hefty gnome, love.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a hench little gnome.
And just as you lift the Jitter up and into the boat, you guys are able to see his canoe smash up against a rock and just split in half and kind of disappears underneath the water.
Beat thee one day, water. I'll get you. You'll see.
Well, the light was certainly with you.
I even more of a problem with water now. It's trying to kill my friends.
Taking off his wings.
Yeah. So you guys make it through the rapid section of the river, and as you're traveling down the river some more, it begins to narrow. It's no longer a mile wide, and it's beginning to come down and kind of get to the point where now it's maybe 20 foot on this side, maybe 15 foot on this side. So you're able to see the shoreline. It's very mucky, and the water begins to kind of slow its pace. Orphe, as you're going down, you kind of notice that there are some weird looking tracks on the beach line that kind of dig in, and they look like they scoop out the beach. They're probably about 10 foot wide. These tracks.
And like they're displacing a lot of dirt,
Yeah.
or they just look like they're. Oof.
Yeah, it's kind of like a U-shaped hole in the beach that's just been like shoved, almost like something grabbed the land and just kind of like carved this, and it's just like one after the other down the beach as you're going down the beach.
I will turn to the other canoe and silently point to those tracks and kind of push my boat away from that edge of the beach. Try and make sure that both of us know to keep the distance from that side of the river.
Okay.
Invisible boats.
I really don't know if this is dinosaurs or anything huge, or I'm totally out of my element here. So just Orphe just kind of looking around everywhere, trying to figure out what could have left these huge tracks.
Azrael's gonna take out a bag that she has with her. It's a tan color. And reach inside the bag and pull out a fluffy ball and chuck it over to the tracks. So this is where I roll a d8.
Jitter sees this, gasps excitement.
So I got a 6. So the little fluffy ball that she pulled out of her bag of tricks turns into a giant weasel, which she throws 20 feet away from her towards this area with the tracks.
Yeah.
And she's gonna call out to the. She's gonna call out to the weasel and say, "Check it out for us, weasel."
Noodle friend.
Little friend.
All
Was he with us the whole
Happy
time? Have you
noodle.
had a weasel this entire time in your bag?
Azrael just like gives you a wink.
I like you.
That's so cool.
So everybody sees her throw that, and it turns into this giant weasel on the bank, the mud bank up above, and it starts going around in circles around this track and kind of sniffing and smelling. And about 5 feet past the track, you see two giant gleams just open up. They just open up, and they're yellow and bright.
Oh. They look like eyes.
They look very much like eyes.
Oh no.
I'm gonna call to the weasel. Make friends with whatever that is.
Yeah. So does your weasel get? It operates as a.
So it starts as like a
familiar.
little fluffy ball. And when I chuck it, it turns into the animal that I roll. And I can give it commands. And if I don't give it commands, it just kind of follows its own nature.
Okay.
So I'm trying to command it to make friends with whatever this thing is over there.
Okay. So you see its ears twitch, and it kind of looks at you, and then it turns around and it walks up to the glowing eyes, and
Does it survive?
you see a massive 10-foot crocodile just, and there's this little weasel tail sticking out.
No. Sorry, don't.
Oh, my giant weasel. That's okay.
And it's
Hopefully it's placated now. It's been fed.
it was sleeping, and now it's awake, and you see it kind of get up off of its off of the ground as it was laying down, and you see it kind of slide down this U-shaped track into the water, and then disappear.
It's got a big meal in its belly.
So-
All right. Technically, that weasel would disappear at 0 hit points, though, or at next dawn. So it thinks it's had a giant meal, but it's probably just got nothing.
The tail was
Not
hanging
like
there, and
Duncan.
and then it just kind of.
Sorry, I'm having some serious issues with my webcam here.
That's all right.
I'm just
Well,
gonna leave it.
leave that thing alone. It doesn't seem very friendly.
So yeah.
Yes, I think we should be on our way.
Maybe go onto the land. The land is looking very good. I'm a bit biased, but I like me some land.
How
Um,
far away are we from the? Sorry,
So,
the name is escaping me. We have a
Talking about Skull Mountain.
Yes, Skull Mountain. Sorry, it was so obvious in my mind. Yes, Skull Mountain.
It's all good. At this point, you see a mountain in the distance, but it's probably pretty. It's probably, if you're guesstimating distance, probably another 20 miles before you reach this mountain in the distance. And you can see the mountain is kind of sticking up above the tree line in the distance, but it looks from where you're at on the river, it looks to be down in some kind of valley and then comes up. And as you're traveling down the river, you see that the beach ahead kind of turns into this cliff-like structure. There's a cliff on each side that starts to just kind of jut upwards, and it's probably a good 60 feet tall going forward. So the river kind of carved into and created this little canyon that you're about to go into. So if you're going to park the boats on the beach, now's the time to do that.
I think I'm in favor of B's idea, and I say, yeah, I think land would be the best idea at this point.
I mean, if we've got 10 minutes, I can try and have a chat with the thing, but it doesn't seem to be in a very good mood.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Shall we take the land then?
Yes, let's.
Yes, land.
go.
Yes, that's a very good idea. That was
Paddle
not
up to
my
the
idea.
beach side.
And you're going on to the opposite side of the beach where the
Oh yeah,
Okay.
probably avoid that one. Yeah.
Okay, so you guys pull up to the beach and you kind of lurch forward as it lands on the beach, and you see just to the south part of where the beach is at, there seems to be a natural trail that's kind of a bit overgrown, but it looks like there's a natural trail that leads on up to the top of the cliffs. But everything
Doesn't
else
look
looks
home like
really
beach.
natural and overgrown. Like there's a lot of overbrush. There's weeds. There's trees and just all kinds of vegetation just mashed in. So really, the only route that you can take is this trail up to the top of the cliffs there.
Let's get hiking, folks. Be just like very happy. The path. I like this. Oh yeah.
Ah, you're chipper. All right, you better go first then, B.
I like soil. Soil's good. It's better than water. That's trumping up this path.
All right. So B is taking the lead up this trail.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
By the sounds of it.
Who's following behind B?
Oh, how? I'm not a dwarf girl.
I'll take up the rear.
Okay. B and then Orphe.
All right, Bard's in the middle.
Okay. And then Jitter, are you taking up the rear again?
Oh, did Orphe said?
Yeah, I'll
You
take up.
said you were
I'll
taking
take up the
the
end.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right. So B, as you get around the trail, there seems to be unnatural carved steps that lead up, and it's kind of another canyon. So there's cliff on this side, steps that lead up, and you can see they kind of wrap around and up the cliff.
Yeah, I follow the steps like, oh, that's nice and convenient. That is all is to go then. Oh, it's good up here.
Yeah.
She's going up the step, just like, oh, this is nice. I like a good walk. Do you like a good walk? Are you a hiker?
I'm gonna pull out my lute instead of my harp and try and match the pace of my song to these steps.
Oh, you got one for every occasion, haven't you, Duck? I like that.
Story for every occasion. That's me.
All right. Orphe, as you're coming up the steps, you see these X's that are just kind of like carved in about every fifth step on one side, 5 steps, and then on the other side, and then you go 5 steps, and there's the other side. So like every 5 steps on the alternating sides, there's like these crudely etched into the stone X's.
Oh, this is nice. No ominous here, is there?
Can I examine one a little closer and see if there's more to them, these X's?
Yeah, go ahead and roll an investigation check.
That'll be 16.
Yeah. So you look at the first one and you don't see anything unusual. There's a little bit of moss that's kind of grown in, so it looks like perhaps this has been here for a while. And as you're going up the steps, it looks like they are newer and newer. So the moss growth is less and less. So they appear that they have been more recently carved the more you go up the steps.
Okay. And there's nothing on the opposite side of these X's, like an arrow slit or something? Like
Nope.
These aren't impact points or anything? Okay.
Nope.
Okay. I'll bring that up to the group. I don't think we're the only people to go up these steps.
Slow down a sec, B. Hang on. Come back a second.
And I'll point out the X's. They seem to be getting more recent. Like somebody is putting them here.
You're a big noob.
Maybe they're just, I don't know, like recording their PB on their hiking trail. You never know.
Is that what you do when you hike?
I mean, people do it on the grass grind all the time. Yeah, I do, don't you? Are you not a competitive hiker? I had you down as,
No, I
you look this hype.
rarely leave the temple.
Oh, do you not hike? Do you not have like a hiking trail in the temple? I've never been to a temple. I've never seen one.
Oh, well. If we make it out alive here, I'll show you mine.
Are there lots of trees?
No, unfortunately not.
Is there water?
Yeah, we brew alcohol.
Oh, alcohol! Oh, no, I'm good. We're good. All right, then. Okay.
So you're saying that the X's are every second step?
Every 5.
Every 5, and they're on alternating
5.
sides. So the first one that you come to is on the right-hand side, and then 5 steps later it's on the left-hand side, and then 5 steps later it's on the right-hand side again, and it just alternates.
Maybe so you can see where you've
Doesn't
been.
seem like a. I don't think it's a personal best if it's so regular. I mean, what you think someone's marking off every 5 steps they make? That seems a bit strange.
Maybe they're very, very small, and it's hard to get up one of them.
Can I assess like how far up the step, like whether a really small person might have etched them?
It actually stands about 4 foot off of the steps.
Oh, there you go.
So for me, I'm looking up at them going, no, actually, maybe not, though, because it's...
Wow, you're really short.
It's quite high up, you're right, actually. I'm not the best at this sort of, like, thinking stuff.
So far you guys have climbed up and you've found 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 X's. So you've climbed up 6 times 5 is 30 steps. Mm-hmm. And the more you climb up, the newer they get. Let's see who was in the lead. B. As you come up to the top step, there's a clearing on this cliff. There is a circle carved right in front of where the steps end and the flat surface of the cliff begins. There's an X down the center of that. and there's a skull sitting
I've
right in
got
the
it.
center.
It's noughts and crosses. That's what it is. It's super easy. Why didn't we see it? Oh, there we go. Nothing to worry about. Oh, someone's left a skull. It's fine. We're all good.
Is it a humanoid skull?
It is humanoid,
How big is it?
about the size of a basketball.
Okay.
Do I notice any like religious iconography in all of this?
Roll a religion check.
Hey, that's what I was hoping for. All right, I've clicked it. There we go. So that looks like. Why does it have 2 numbers there? I guess it's.
It's
an 11?
rolling advantage and disadvantage automatically.
Oh,
So
I
the
see.
number on the left is your roll, and then if you have disadvantage, you take the lowest number. If you have advantage, you take the highest number.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So-
Cool, so that's an 11.
11. Okay. You get the feeling that perhaps this has something to do with some sort of cult or religion, but you're not able to identify the specific cult or religion that this is associated with.
Hmm.
So you get like
Well,
this
this is
intuition.
certainly not tic-tac-toe, or noughts and crosses, as you put it.
Is it not? Do you play it different out here?
No, I think this is something more sinister, I'm afraid.
Oh, well, that's a shame, isn't it? I have an explorer's pack, so I'm just going to take out a torch and throw it in the middle of this circle. Let's see what that does. I'm not going to light it, just like unlit. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
So it's just an X in the ground with a skull and a torch now, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is
There
not
is the circle.
smart.
Oh, and the circle,
Yeah.
circle, yeah.
A
Okay,
circle,
let's
an
check it
X in
out.
there, and then the skull, and now there's a torch laying, an unlit torch laying next to the skull.
Did it do you out?
I don't think that was it.
Okay. Well, it's not a trap then, so we can just leave it.
I think it's best that we leave it.
Well, we were told this was Skull Mountain, right? And there is a skull right here.
Oh, that's the skull of Skull Mountain. There you go. It's decorative.
Hmm.
He
Potentially.
walks straight through it, just like, oh, let's keep going.
So you're walking across the circle?
I have chucked a torch into it and nothing happened, and therefore, in B's understanding of how things work, it's fine and safe. And nothing matters. It's cool. So I wouldn't.
I'm like, oh, feet! And she's already gone.
Off we go. We haven't got much time.
So as she walks across and gets to the center of the circle, a white light just kind of shoots up from around the circle and then disappears, and she's gone.
Okay. Well, I think that's a sign we should follow. Come on, everyone, let's go.
Where am I? What can I see at this point? Do I see the white light?
You see the white light kind of surround you and shoot up, and everything's just completely white to you, and then as soon as, like, about 2 seconds after the white light goes up, it goes completely dark, and then your eyes kind of adjust, and you're standing on top of a mountain, and you can see the obelisk is about 10 miles away at this point.
Oh, that's not bad, that. I turned around. Oh, wait. Oh, no, they're not.
As you're looking at the obelisk, you can see around the obelisk in a crescent shape, there is just massive destruction. The forest is burning and on fire for miles past that. And the fire seems to be centering around that crescent towards the obelisk. It's about 10 miles from the obelisk. So you're about the same distance away from the obelisk as the fire is growing towards the obelisk.
Okay, and no one else has stepped in the circle, so I'm just alone with this.
As of right now, yes.
Do you know-
I'm very cross now. Oh, no.
As you're feeling cross, Azrael, you said you were going to step through the circle, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to encourage the others to join her.
Okay.
Join B in there. Come on, we
Is
should.
my torch there, by the
we
way,
should
or is it
follow
on the
her.
other side?
The torch is still there.
Okay, so I pick up my torch.
Oh, is it on our side or on her side?
On her side.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
I will follow
We
hesitantly.
shouldn't let her linger over there on her own. Come on, let's go.
Okay. So as Jitter, are you following as well?
Yep, he's. I think I'm just gonna describe his walk because that was the thing last session. He his walk is he puts his heel out, kind of flutters a bit, lands on his other heel, pushes up a bit, lands on his other heel, flutters. So he's kind of bringing in the air every couple seconds, but he'll kind of flutter into the circle.
Okay. As the
Cool.
three of you get into the circle, the white light shoots up, and then it shoots up again and all dark, and then your eyes adjust and you can see B is standing there and she is fuming. She's just, "Ah," and you can see the same thing.
hit that fire with my axe.
Oh, I see. All right, babe. Channel that anger to the right purposes, okay? We're here for the good of this land.
Yeah, we're gonna hit it until it stops being on fire.
I mean,
That's right, I'll
physics
just
support that.
kind of nod in defeat.
How do we get there?
Sorry,
Please, Dan.
turn that off. Sorry.
So, Krista mentioned a trail down to the obelisk. Do I see a trail from here?
Yes, you do. You're on top of a mountain right now, and you can see the obelisk is about 10 miles away. And to your right, there is the trees kind of grow straight up, and then they arch, creating this natural arch that goes around.
Mm-hmm.
So we can see the obelisk. So I think B's just gonna start storming towards the obelisk, like. But I sort this mess out. Don't like it. Just very,
All right,
very singularly focused. Just like it's gonna take me a while to get there. I'm gonna set off on it. See if I can find any more shortcut teleportation circles that are not. It turns out for noughts and crosses. It's very confusing.
So you guys see B just
As-
like
as
bound
Rael's
down the
just
stairs.
gonna follow after her, like, oh, okay, she's off, and follows
It's
after.
not gonna
me.
take you long to catch up.
Orthe and Jitter, you see Azrael take down the hill, or down the staircase right behind B.
As soon as he sees them going down, he's gonna be like, "Wait up!" He'll
I'll take a
follow.
thunder.
Nice.
Make sure.
Back to the usual configuration.
Okay. So you guys are going down the steps, and you get down. It's probably about a good 60-foot descent, and you get down, and the trees kind of open up, and there's a large clearing, and on the other side of the clearing, you can see another arched tree formation that indicates another pathway down that way. But in this clearing, there's two patches of like really tall grass that just seem to kind of have grown up. And they're almost in a perfect circle. They're not quite perfect, but they're circular in nature. One to the right and one to the left as you go through that.
Can
grass.
Azrael wants to like step up to this choice between left and right, and pull out her lute and try to play a nice calming song to the surroundings, to see whether it draws anything out or and it changes anything in the environment.
Okay. So you start playing your lute there, and you see the tall grass begins to kind of just sway with the rhythm of the song that you're doing.
Ooh, nice.
Yes. And you
Is it different from one patch to another, or is it just all the same?
it's just kind of random, but it's in sync with the music.
Okay.
And as the grass is kind of swaying, you all hear what sounds like clicking sounds, and it begins to grow. The sound begins to get louder and louder, and the clicks become more like snaps. It's just snapping sounds, and they seem to be coming from the grass.
In rhythm with the song or not?
Not really so much in rhythm of the song. It's just kind of random.
Okay.
Can I do a perception check to see if this is maybe a small beast that I could potentially have a bit of a non-verbal chat with?
Go ahead and roll your perception.
Oh wow, I'm so good at perception as a barbarian. That is.
Don't forget, I think you still have your bardic inspiration, B.
I do not. I used it to help get Chitter into the boat.
Oh, that's right.
So that's a 10. A big fat 10.
Okay.
Nice and average.
You perceive that there is something in the grass that is making this sound, and it sounds natural, but you're not quite sure what it is.
Okay, I go into the right one, just part the grass and have a look for it.
Okay, while you're walking towards that grass, Orphe, Jitter, is there anything you would like to do? You see me heading towards the one on the right.
As this is kind of like a thing now, I will at least try and protect her in case anything jumps out like it did with that poor weasel. And just kind of,
Okay,
stand defensively over her.
Gotcha.
That
So
weasel
you're
gives
readying
valuable information.
an action to protect B.
Mhm.
Okay. Jitter?
I think Jitter is sorry. He's probably sticking to the rear at this point, but he's keeping a watchful eye. I think he brings down his goggles. They're goggles of night. I don't know if he needs them, but they make him feel good.
Okay.
Safety goggles.
The clearing that you're in is pretty bright at this point,
Yeah.
but the archway that you were in was pretty dark.
Okay, so maybe he's taking them off the bed. Maybe he had them on.
I was gonna say, would it be like putting on infrared goggles and blindly like, no, too bright.
Yeah.
So, at this point, B, you part the grass, and you see a little mound of dirt. And sticking out of the mound of dirt, there is a large pincer, black pincer. And it tries to grab at you, but Orphe is ready for it. So, Orphe, go ahead and make a attack roll on this bullet ant.
Oh, that'll be a 23.
Yeah, that hits.
Okay. Before +6, that is 10 damage.
10 damage. All right. So you bop this thing right in between where the bulging eyes are at, and just and it pinches down, but it misses B. And I need everyone to roll initiative.
Okay.
That duck. Oh, I got a nat 20.
Nice.
Nice. Is that from the same dice that was giving you the nat ones earlier? Aren't you glad you didn't listen to me and put it in jail?
Yeah. I remembered though, I actually have advantage on initiative. I just forgot that when I was first rolling it.
All right. So B, we got a nat 20. Orphe, what did you get?
12.
Okay. Jitter?
17.
Okay. And Azrael. Is it Azrael? Azrael.
With an A first, Azrael.
Azrael.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, I got a 19.
And a 19. All right. So it's going to be B, Azrael, Jitter, and Orphe.
Okay.
So half of the head of this thing is sticking out and has pinched towards B.
Okay, I think B's getting pretty fed up at this point. Like
Mm-hmm.
nothing is quite going right. There's been 2 sessions with water. This is not a good day. And she's very
Forest
angry about
on
this.
fire,
Yeah.
pinches.
I'm very, very cross now, and she goes into a rage.
All right.
I've never played a barbarian before. Can I rage and then attack, or is it rage as an action?
I believe rage is a bonus action.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Rage is a bonus.
Fantastic. Great. So I go into a rage, which does mean I get an extra attack, and I'm gonna take a swing with my great axe at this thing that rudely tried to grab me, having no respect for conscience. Yeah, that is gonna be 11 on my first swing to hit.
The 11 just barely misses.
Okay, and then I take another swing, and that is definitely gonna hit. That is 26.
That definitely hits. So roll your damage for that second one.
Okay, so the second one is 21 damage.
Wow.
Not too bad.
Gotta love those barbarians. So you swing your axe and you miss, and that just enrages you even more. So you take a backswing and you just whack that axe right into the. You can hear the crunch of the exoskeleton of this thing just crack on his skull, and he just kind of like goes limp.
I'll teach you to touch people without asking first.
But as this is a bullet ant swarm,
Oh.
2 more of them come out from the other patch behind you that was to the left. So now there are 2.
Okay, excellent. What
Are they
size
giant
they?
ants?
They are. They're about
Okay.
the size of B.
Oh.
In
Yikes.
terms of D&D size, would they be classed as small or less than small at all?
I believe B as a gnome, you're classed as a small creature, correct?
I'm classed as a small creature, yeah, and I have speak with small beasts.
Yeah. Well, on your next turn, you can do
Yeah.
that.
I it's non-verbal, but I can basically gesture at them and be like, "What the fudge is going on? What are you doing?"
Nice.
All right. So that's going to bring us to Azrael.
So I've already got my loot out. I think I had when I was playing into the grass. So I'm going to do 2 things with my action. I'm going to use vicious mockery at the ants currently coming at me. I'm going to yell at them. This isn't very nice. I was playing you a beautiful tune and you're attacking my friend. So they have to. I have to. It's unleashing a string of insults. So that's my insult.
Very vicious.
That is a very
They
wholesome
don't have to
insult.
understand me. They have to make. It's just the one creature. It has to make a wisdom saving throw. Yeah, and we'll see what happens based on.
What is your spell save DC? Because they're not going to roll very high. That is a 12.
Yes, good question. My spell save DC is 17, so it fails.
Okay.
Okay, so it takes 1d4 psychic damage, and it has disadvantage on the next attack roll it makes before the end of its next turn.
Okay.
So I'll roll the d4. Okay, so that's just the 1 damage.
All right.
And now with my bonus, I'm going to strum harder on my lute and stir B up into more of a frenzy than she's already in. So you've got a D8 bardic inspiration to use on your next D20 roll.
Thank you. Awful music.
All right.
So that's my turn.
Perfect. That brings us to what are we at? Jitter.
Alrighty. So there's this swarm of giant ants. How much do they weigh?
That is a good question.
Like
That's not a very nice question to ask somebody.
I'm gonna say they're about 15 pounds.
Dang. Okay. I was about ready to actually. Yeah. All right.
You're about to rage hand them.
I'm gonna 3rd level catapult one of the ants into one of the ants.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I'll hit an ant with an ant.
Yeah, I'm into it. Go for it.
They need to make a dexterity saving throw. Sorry.
Ah, okay.
I just had to pull up the spell.
That's all right. What is the DC on that? Because, oh god, that's a nat 1, so it doesn't matter what the DC on that is.
Oh, it was gonna be 16.
No, this thing nat 1 does dexterity saving throw, so you catapult one of the ants into the other ant.
Good, and they're gonna be taking 13 points of bludgeoning damage from the impact.
Ooh, 13 points. All right, so the one ant gets launched, and you can hear the crunch as the two of them kind of get together. And one of them, the legs kind of split upwards instead of where they're supposed to be, and you see this goop just kind of like leak out from the leg, and you can hear the from the ant.
Oh.
Jitter just kind of shudders at that and just goes, I mean, it works.
Yes, violent elf, I like it.
And that brings us to Orphe. There is still one ant over here to the left, and then there's the dead ant in front and the two dead ants on the other side.
I am gonna go to town on it with my quarterstaff.
Go for it.
First attack is a 25, and the second one is an 8.
The 25 hits. Yep.
Mm-hmm. And that will be a whopping 13 points of bludgeoning damage. I will spend a key point to do Flurry of Blows.
Yes, do it.
And only one of the unarmed attacks hits. 12 and a 20. Does that hit the 12?
Yes, the AC is 12, so...
Oh, then he gets 2 hits.
Yeah.
So he gets 2 more bops with a fist for another 8 points of bludgeoning damage.
Nice.
And I will use my tipsy sway and hop back 5 feet and disengage.
Nice.
Yes.
Punk.
Alright, so you do that, and you bop it with the quarterstaff, and then you just pop, pop, and you can hear the crunch as your fists connect with this thing, and it just goes limp.
Yeah.
So you have crushed an ant
With my fist.
the size of B. And as the other ant squeals as it dies, 2 more come out of this side, and you can see the one that was dead that B had whacked with the axe and crunched, kind of get pushed and shoved and just like move to the side as 2 more ants come out of the right-hand side. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. Okay, and I need... Okay, that's an 18 to hit B.
That hits.
That hits. Okay.
Damn you, Ant. Ah!
That is a 6 piercing as it pinches at you, B. And the other one is attacking... Let's see. That's an 18 to hit Jitter. Does an 18 hit you, Jitter?
That'll do it, yeah.
Alright. And that's a 9 piercing damage at you as it bites at you.
Oh, you blighters.
That's a 13 to hit Orphe.
That'll miss.
No, that's a miss. So it kind of tries to pinch at you, and you're quick enough to just get out of the way. And Azrael, that is a 12 to bite you.
Nope. I'm a class 13.
All right. So it tries to bite you, and you're just like... Ring.
Yep.
All right. And that's going to bring us back up to B. There are now 4 ants. 2 over on the left-hand side, 2 ants where you're at, and a couple of dead ants.
Okay, so speak with small beast appears to be an ability, but it doesn't say if it takes an action or not. So I don't know if that would take my action to talk with them.
Usually, that is a free action to speak. You have speak with animals. Is that a spell?
No, I've got speak with small beasts. So through sounds and gestures, you can communicate simple ideas with small or smaller beasts.
Is that like a racial
forest
or
It's a
a...
racial thing. It's a forest gnome thing.
Okay. I am going to say that is a free action then. You just get to do that because it's not communicating, it's just body language and stuff like that. So you can go ahead and attempt to do that.
Okay, so I kind of try and gesture at them like, fudge off, you sod. Try and scare 'em. And then I'm gonna, attack the one that attacked me because that's very rude of you. Don't do this.
Okay.
So yeah, I think as well she's quite pissed off at this point, or she would say,
It's quite intimidating, really.
my feathers are very ruffled, so she's gonna take a reckless attack.
All right. I will notate, since you have that speak with small beasts, that these appear to be agitated.
Okay.
In a nature, like you're familiar with nature, and you kind of understand the basic principles. These things look like they are agitated beyond natural order.
Okay. Well, you can't help it, but you're still biting at me, so I'm gonna swing my axe at you, you beastie. So the first one is a 24.
That hits.
Funny that. And the second is gonna be 27 to hit.
That hits.
Cool. So I'm gonna roll my damage. So my first attack is gonna deal 17 damage.
All right.
Wow.
You hack into this thing and you can hear the crunch of the exoskeleton, and it's just barely twitching at this point. So you can either continue to attack this one, or you can switch your attack to the other one that's standing in front of you.
I will swing my second attack at the other one.
Okay.
And that is a 23 damage to the second one.
Yeah, that second
I'm a
one you just
barbarian.
whack,
Ah!
and the head just lops off. You hear whack, and it just rolls into the clearing. The pincher's still kind of...
Nasty little buggers. You shan't be touching my wizard friend again.
All right.
Thank you.
And that brings us to Azriel. Azriel, what would you like to do?
Good question. I'm a bit in awe of Bee and her performance right now. It's inspiring
my
me.
size as well.
Yeah.
It's like my
you're
full
scaring
size.
off. Yeah, scaring off beasts the same size as you. That's great. Oh man, I mean, she's got this in the bag by the looks. So what have we got left? Have we got one ant left?
There's one in front of B that's still just kind of twitching. It's not motionless. You're pretty sure that it's not gonna last. And then there's two more on the left.
Okay.
Little grass
And
thing.
the ones on the left, are they coming at
They're currently
our poor wizard friend?
yeah, Jitter and Orphe. Yep.
All right. Okay. Okay. I think I'm gonna shoot off some more magic missiles at those ones then.
Okay.
I'll send 2 at the one closer to Jitter and 1 at the other one.
Okay. And
Okay.
yep. Roll your damage.
So. So the 2. So that's +1 each. So that's 5 to that first one. And oof. And a 5 at the second one. I rolled really good on that last one.
Nice.
So 5 to each.
So you, and the 2 bolts go to the one ant, and the other one goes, and you can, the one that gets hit with 2 bolts kind of rears up on its hind legs, exposing its underbelly. And the other one, it gets hit, and it just kind of takes the hit. You really can't tell. It took the damage, but you really can't. It doesn't react to the damage.
Okay.
All right. Do you have any bonus
So it looks
actions?
like that
or...
first one is a bit exposed.
Yes.
Let's see. Yeah, you know what? Let's pull out the tan bag of tricks again. and chuck something at those last two remaining. Well, there's three, but the two that I've fired bolts at. Let's chuck another animal.
You got more weasels in there.
We'll soon see. So let's see what it is this time.
Literally a bag of weasels.
This one, this one is actually a giant hyena.
There you go.
So I pull a little furry ball out, throw it 20 feet from me, and I, as a giant hyena pops out of this little furry ball, they're like Pokemon. I'm like, hey you, go distract those ants.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get it to get between the ants and Jitter.
Okay. So the thing kind of unfurls, like its tail comes out from underneath. It's kind of like, and it looks at you, and you can see its ears twitch, and it turns around and it runs towards the ants, and it's just kind of nipping at them to kind of get their attention, and it is placed itself between Jitter and the bullet ant.
Excellent. That's my turn.
All right.
I want your bag.
It's a good one.
Jitter, that brings us to you. What are you doing? He is in
How many of
shock
these
and
ants are
awe.
left?
There's the one that's
Sorry.
twitching. That's all right. There's the one that's twitching over by B. It's kind of twitching uncontrollably. It's like barely hanging on to life at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the one in front of you and the one over by Orphe.
Ah, okay. Jitter is this kind of person that he's gonna hit the one over by Orphe because friend is in trouble. Oh no.
Okay.
Plus, you've got a giant hyena protecting you from the one near you.
Oh, okay. If that's the case,
Currently.
I'll focus on his.
Oh, okay.
I'm so out of it this evening. I'm sorry. Anyway,
That's all right.
he'll focus on the one that's near him. Is that one of the one? He's just gonna witch bolt it, but he's
I
gonna
hope
witch
that the
bolt
grass
it
isn't dry.
and also change, because he is a invention wizard. He has alchemical casting,
Okay.
which lets him change the element of elemental attack spells.
Nice.
So the way I flavored this the last time we played with Jitter, he has a little dial on his armor that he spins in different directions, and so you see him like flit with it a little bit until you see one that's like a snowflake, and he presses on that. So when he casts Witch Bolt, it is cold damage.
Nice.
So it's still gonna be.
It's like the Omnitrix little Ben 10 action. I like it.
23 to hit.
Yeah, that hits. That hits hard.
Okay, so that's gonna be 8 cold damage.
Okay. So yeah, you see the ant kind of slow down its movements, and its antennae are just kind of like flickering, and then they slow down, and it just kind of falls over.
Okay. At which point he's going to use his movement to get closer to to Orphe and his, so that way he can provide an assist later if need be.
Okay, so you just move up there next to Orphe.
Yep.
All right. Which brings us to Orphe. So Orphe, what are you doing? There is an ant in front of you, and one that's twitching.
Is the one that's near me? Is it near the hole that it came out of?
Yes.
All right. When my attacks are going to be just basically like pole stomping it back into its hole to try and like keep it shut.
Whacking at.
Okay.
Yeah. First attack is 18. Second one is a 13.
Both of them hit.
Nice. And that'll be 2, 9 plus 6. That'll be 15 points of bludgeoning damage.
Oh yeah.
And if it doesn't look like it's dead, I'm going to use flurry of blows to make sure.
You don't need to use your flurry of blows because you're pole stomping that thing, and you're just basically shoving it into the hole, and then you're crunching
Yeah.
it down into the hole, and it just collapses in on itself, and you can hear it kind of And it-
Splat, yikes.
It plugs the hole.
Hey, good one.
With ants. We can't get out. We're buried.
Azrael's strumming like a da-da-da-da, like on her strings as you do that.
Oh, I love that.
So that is going to bring us around. Well, that's dead, and you've killed the one that is twitching. Just kind of stops twitching, and you don't see any movement coming out of the hole by UB. So you guys are out of combat, and you're good to go.
So this was the right hand circle of grass, right?
Correct. You're currently standing in front of the one that was on the right.
Can we hear any other chittering or anything?
Not at this point.
Oh, that went so well that B's gonna just stomp directly over to look in it. What's in here then?
So you open that up and you see that there is a compressed ant shoved into a hole. And Orpheus is kind of just standing there with his quarterstaff, proud of himself, like, I did that.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, we're all good then. Right, how do we get to this obelisk then? Now we've killed everything in sight. How do we get on with our actual mission?
Is there still fire kind of around us, or is that a bit further off?
You can see the archway to the distance, not the one you came out of, but the one further on. Deeper into that, there seems to be an orange glow coming through there.
Okay.
He sets off towards it. Let's go!
As you
Alright.
set off towards that, you see a figure appear in the archway. And he's kind of floating in the archway. He's wearing some robes, and he's got some pointy ears. And his eyes are very dark, and there's some, like, what looks like oil or viscera just kind of dripping down his eyes. He says, "You
that
shall
sounds
go
alright.
no further."
Well, that's just not true, is it?
And we're all gonna roll initiative.
Here we go.
Natural 20.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Kicking butt, taking names. 13.
That was not a good one for me.
So Orphe got a natural 20.
15 for me.
B got a 15. What did Azrael get?
8.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
And Jitter?
13.
13. So we're gonna go Orphe, B, Jitter, Azrael. But before we get into combat, we're gonna take a real quick break. So we'll be back in about 5 minutes.
Okay.
So we'll see you in 5 minutes. All right, welcome back. We have traveled into the sacred wilds and defeated some bullet ants and other obstacles. And as they were making their way towards the obelisk to save the sacred wilds, a figure appeared in the archway, stopping them from proceeding. He said, "You will make it no further." So we rolled initiative, and up first is Orphe. Orphe, you have identified this figure as Bolserno.
Oh. Then I will take it as a challenge that we're going no further and move into attack.
All right.
I don't know. A 14 and a 16.
Both of those are going to hit.
Oh, nice. Okay. So that's a 12 points of bludgeoning damage.
12 points. All right.
Spend a key point there, do flurry of blows. And that will be a 17 and a 21.
Both of those hit.
Alrighty. Not very much. Just 9 more points of bludgeoning damage.
All right.
And I will disengage and back up 10 feet using Drunken Technique.
Gotcha. So you run up and you bash, and you're just like popping this guy in the face.
Mm-hmm.
And cause 21
With
bludgeoning. Yeah, he's got that viscera just kind of dripping down from his eyes. And yeah, you bash him pretty good. And he takes the hits. You can feel the connection of your fists to his face, but he's just like solid standing there. B.
Oh, I never actually left rage, so I'm still in rage, I think.
Yeah.
Or has it been more than a minute? I have 4 a day. I can use more.
No, you were batting those ants, and as soon as you finished that combat, you guys looked up. So take your rage.
Cool.
Funnel it.
Right, so I'm like, now then, sunshine, you are getting in my way, and I have a feeling you're not a very nice person. So I'm gonna go and take a big swipe with my great axe. Oh, that's gonna be a 20.
Yeah, that's gonna hit him.
And then a 16 for my second attack.
Yep, that 16 hits.
Okay, and I have a thing for criticals. I have a brutal critical, so I can roll 1 additional weapon damage die.
Whoa.
Yeah, and I forgot I've not been adding, so I also have a thing with my rage at level 9 where I get a +3 damage bonus that I haven't been adding.
Oh, there.
Here we go. Big hit time. Whack him.
So, all right. First one, here we go. Get my calculator. So the first one, the critical, is going to be 30.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And then the second one is going to be a 24 damage.
Ooh, 24 plus 30. All right.
54.
That's 54 damage.
Damn.
Very angry.
Whack, and then whack with that great axe, and you
Tiny gnome person. Jeez.
he just rips into the robes, and you can feel the skin just tearing and the muscles just flapping forward. And there's this black ichor that just splurts out and kind of on your face.
Oh.
And you're just covered in this like blood black vicar ooze and frothing at the mouth a little bit.
That's very nice, that. I may be looking for some water at this point, even though I don't usually like it.
And that's gonna bring us to Jitter. Jitter, what are you doing?
Okay, so he's going to see this and realizing that this is pretty much, their guy. He's going to cast a lightning bolt on him.
Okay.
And for flavor's sake, he turns to that dial on the right, and there's only 2 on this one. The typical one coated into like the regular colors of the armor, so it hardly stands out. It's like a tiny little etched smiley face, but he spins it and there's a skull and crossbones.
Okay.
And when he spins it, he's going to burn a second level spell slot for the second part of alchemical casting, which lets him burn a second level spell slot to add 2d10 force damage to a spell.
Nice.
So it's going to be a lightning bolt plus 2d10 force damage.
Go for it. The suspense.
So he needs to make a dexterity saving throw. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
This is going to happen. I'm a spell person. I need to pull those up.
All right. 13 dexterity saving, you said?
Yes.
That is a 13.
My save is a 16, so they're going to be taking lightning.
All right, go ahead and roll your
They're going to
damage.
be taking 8d6 lightning damage. That's 6, 9, 10, 15, 18, 26 plus the 2d10s from the alchemical casting. So that's 6, 36 points of damage.
Whew.
Damn.
Nice.
And that
Like you, violent wizard person.
And that is a third and second level spell burnt on that one attack, though.
That's still some pretty good damage as you call forth that lightning, and the force of the lightning just kind of pushes down, and you swear you can almost see his skeleton light up as this lightning is just coursing through his veins.
Whoa.
He kind of smiles and just goes, "If only the guys back home could look at me now."
All right.
Amy.
And Azriel, you're up.
Yep. So I am going to hold my action. I'm going to hold a spell. I'm holding Dispel Magic for whatever he casts next. So I'm just waiting there with Dispel Magic for whatever trick comes out of his sleeve. So the way Dispel Magic works is, so any third level or lower spell that he tries to cast, it'll affect. And if he I think it'll just dispel it instantly if it's third level or below. If it's fourth level or higher, then he has to make a check.
Gotcha.
I think it's you have to make a check of like it's 10 plus the spells level.
Yes. Yes, I make a check. Sorry, thank you.
Okay, well, that's gonna change some things because
Excellent. That's what I like to hear.
So Bolserno is standing there and he's taken some massive damage, and the blood and the vicar is just kind of exploded out onto B's face, and then the lightning, he's just kind of like shimmered, and you see him begin to shift, and the robes kind of change shape, and you see him take this massive form of a bear standing up on its hind legs. He has used his wild shape as a druid to shift into a massive bear.
Okay, so how's that going to work with the spell magic? Probably.
I am not exactly sure what raw is on Dispel Magic and Wild Shape because that's a druid feature.
Yeah.
Not a spell.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, since you've readied that action, while he's shifting, you cast that Dispel Magic, because you're not quite sure what he's doing. You see him doing something. You cast
Druid
Dispel
stuff.
Magic. And as he's shifting, one of the arms that's shifting kind of gets stuck in transformation. So now there's a massive bear with a human arm just sitting there.
Your idea.
Amazing.
And he's going to look at you a little confused
Mm-hmm.
as he casts his wild shape.
Just for clarity, is this like as in 3 legs a bear and then you've got this human peg leg arm thing going on, or just an extra arm?
He is standing up on his hind legs, so he's got 2 bears and then a bear arm and then the human arm, just kind of
Weak little dangly human arm.
A really noodly wizard arm as well.
I
Just like
am pretty sure that's not how it works in Raw, but
Sounds good though.
it sounds fantastic, so we're gonna go with it.
Yes. Awesome.
someone does not lift, clearly.
He skipped that day. All right, and that is. That's not a bonus action. Okay, so that is going to be his turn because that is his full action. So he is now in the shape of a bear. And this bear stands about 8 foot tall and probably weighs close to 300 pounds. And it looks like a grizzly bear, but the fur is really, really dark. So that brings us back up to Orphe. Orphe, this thing has changed and become a bear. What are you doing?
Looks up at this man who just turned into a bear. Plants his quarterstaff in the ground. You see the air around his head kind of begin to like smoke. I guess it's like cools down, like you can see the condensation. As he uses his breath weapon.
Oh, nice.
In his face. He will need to make a Constitution save.
18 plus 1, so that's a 19.
All right, he takes half the damage, and it is cold damage.
Okay.
18. So that's 26 damage halved. So he takes 13 cold damage.
Okay.
And as a bonus action, can I use Stunning Strike unless I've attacked, eh?
How about you stop hating
Yeah, sorry, I have to have hit it. So I will, back up and...
Well, you did... Technically, you hit it with the breath weapon.
It has to be a physical melee attack.
Okay.
Yeah. So I can't attack and use the breath weapon, so I will back up and just use defense. Like a defensive stance.
Okay. Alright. And that brings us to B.
Okay, so slight issue here. So B is not like a standard barbarian. She's like a forest totem warrior barbarian, and her totem is a bear.
Uh-oh.
Yes, this is suddenly very confusing because my god, in a kind of weird, disheveled form, has appeared before me. I'm like, oh no. So can I do like a perception check to see if I think this is still the bad guy, or if this is my god and I should defend this creature?
I mean, you did just see the bad guy transform, so you did witness the bad guy turn into this bear. So you could probably understand that this is still the same person.
That's true.
Whether or not you're comfortable attacking him at this point is up to you, but...
I think at this point, I think she sort of sits there and goes, oh, I don't like it. And then she sort of thinks about it and goes, no, you know what? Actually, you're taking on the form of the most noble creature in the forest. She's going to reckless attack.
Nice.
Nice.
She's even angry now.
You still have the bardic inspiration from before?
I do.
I think this is the time.
It might be the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, like this. Yes, like this.
So, that is gonna be maybe a 25 for my first attack.
Yeah, that hits him in his bear form.
And my second is gonna be
I can't bear to
a
watch
24.
Nice.
So I take it at 24. Does that hit?
Yeah, that hits.
Cool. Okay. So my first attack. Fudge off. Oh no, it's plus. Is going to be 18.
All right.
Second attack is gonna be. It's gonna be a 20.
Ooh.
How dare you impersonate the noble bear! Ah!
Yeah, you've taken offense to this so much that you target his human arm and you lop it right off. So a human arm just comes off from the bear and flops onto the ground.
At least it looks more normal now.
I think afterwards, in her anger, you just got this sort of like weird sludge all over. It's like, ah! Just rubbing it in his face. I'll show you!
And that's gonna bring us to Jitter.
I feel like he's watching this just like, well then. He's gonna, This worked well last time. This will only work so well this time. What is like, is there something that I could push him into if I say had a gust of wind? Is there like something advantageous I can do besides just push him?
You could push him back into the archway. In his bear form, he would probably take up the whole passageway.
Get him stuck.
I love that way too much. Also, by the way, did my image change to Jitter for you guys?
Not
Just the artwork.
Yeah. The artwork changed to Jitter.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen any changes.
Yeah, I didn't get a change. That's alright.
Weird. Anyway, he's gonna gust of wind and oh god, that's all his second level spell slots. Yeah, he's gonna do that and he's gonna burn his last one because I'm gonna say he forgets that it's still on skull and crossbone mode. So the gust of wind, even though it normally doesn't do damage, will come bearing 2d10 force.
Okay.
So he's just gonna have the bear make a strength save, or be pushed 15 feet back, and hopefully that will lead him into the arch.
Wedged.
Yeah, wedged would be good.
That is an 18 for his strength save.
I always do this against creatures who logically would have a really good strength. I did this against a vampire earlier today. Alright, well... He's still taking 16 points of damage. That's
Alright.
my small consolation.
Nice.
So you cast that gust of wind, and you can see the fur kind of just like flapping in this immense wind, and he's just planted his feet on the ground, and he's...
Every time!
And
He
then
just kind of
the
sighs.
the snout starts flapping.
I think it's very important to note he is flapping his wings to make this like even slightly more windy, even though it's hardly anything different about the spell.
Pathetic addition.
Yeah. So he takes that damage.
Bad
Doesn't
Joe's.
feel like it's important.
And it's just not quite enough wind to move the bear. You do see the bear kind of move just a little bit against the ground, just kind of a little bit, like maybe an inch or two.
I think I need to clarify. I wasn't saying that to like see if it would do any more. That was just because I think that'd be funny.
Yeah.
Good flavor. I like it.
He does move a little bit, but not enough to move him.
Okay.
But his face is flapping like a dog with their head out the window and it moves.
Yeah.
He just kind of finally lets up and just goes like, I mean, he went to me, oh, and he turns it off. It's just like, oh, that wind must have hurt. Sorry.
Sorry.
And that brings us to Azrael. Azrael, it's your turn.
Excellent.
What are you doing?
So Jitter over here has given me an idea. Seeing that you're trying to push the bear around, Azrael's gonna try to use another of her skills she learned in wizard training, to cast levitate on the bear.
Okay.
So, one creature or object of your choice you can see within range rises vertically up to 20 feet and remains suspended there for the duration. How many pounds did you say he was?
About 350 ish.
Perfect. I can levitate anything that weighs up to 500 pounds. He has to succeed on a Constitution saving throw to be unaffected.
Constitution, you say, huh?
Yes.
That is a 15 for his Constitution saving.
Okay, my spell save DC is 17, so that's not a
Perfect.
success for him. So I'm going to move him 20 feet.
Bear. Great. This is
But the bear
safer.
can't hit back. This is the thing. And you've got javelins, so it'll be okay. Alright, so yes, he's going 20 feet up into the air. And I'm going to try and... is he too close to the arch at the moment?
Well,
Or
he
still
was
kinda far away?
standing kind of in the arch, like just in front of it, but now he's kind of floated up above the arch.
Alright.
So
okay.
he's
I don't
in
know if
line
I
with
can,
like the tree line, the canopy.
I don't know if I can choose which direction. Okay, you can change the target's altitude by up to 20 feet in either direction. Oh, okay, so I can only move him up and down, I think. So he's just going 20 feet up.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So he's kind of went up and he's in the canopy area right above the archway. He's just kind of floating there. And that's going to bring us to his turn. And as he's floating upwards without an arm, he realizes that this is not working out well for him. So he's going to use a bonus action to shift back into his form.
Okay. Armless.
And then he reaches out the one arm that he has, and he's going to cast Thunder Wave on you guys.
I counterspell.
You counterspell.
Oh.
Yeah.
Go wizard go!
Third level counterspell.
Yeah. So he goes to cast Thunder Wave, and nothing happens as you counterspell him.
Jitter just kind of seems a little proud of himself and just goes,
Yep, Azrael's giving a nod of improvement over to Jitter, like, oh yeah.
Very
You and
good,
me,
Violet
wizard
Wizard,
skills.
very good.
Alright. Okay.
Fucking damn.
That brings us up to Orphe.
So he's 20 feet above us still?
He is currently floating 20 feet above you, yes.
Yeah, he can move only by pushing and pulling on objects, by the way.
Okay. I have no ranged weapons, so I will just take up a defensive stance in case he throws any projectiles toward the group.
Okay.
I'll hold my action for that.
Gotcha. Alright. B, you're up.
Okay, so
Javelin, do it!
let's see if you'll let me do this. So B's quite annoyed at this point, and now this target is floating out of her regular range of her great axe. And yeah, she does have javelins, but there's also an arm on the floor. And she's got it into her head. I'm gonna tear your arm off and beat you over the head with a soggy end, but she can't hit him now. So can she throw the arm?
You absolutely can throw the arm at him. That's going to be a ranged melee attack, or a ranged attack. So roll a d20 plus your proficiency, because your proficiency in ranged
Beautiful.
weapons.
That's great.
Great. Okay. This might not work super well.
It's funny though.
It's very funny.
We're just disrespecting this guy.
Oh yeah.
That's gonna be a 19.
Oh my god.
Yeah? So you scoop this arm up and you toss it up at him, and it smacks him in the face. An unarmed attack is a 1d4, correct?
Unarmed.
So go ahead and roll a d4.
That's
2, and then add your strength modifier to see how strong you've thrown that arm.
so that add 4 to that. That's
So 6. Okay, you make him smack himself with his own
Yeah! Stop hitting yourself!
arm.
Amazing. We're doing the work of the good. We're heroes here, guys.
I able to take another attack at that point?
You have an extra attack. You can use
I
that.
do
Yes.
have an extra attack. I'll actually just throw a javelin.
Okay, go ahead and throw your javelin.
Okay.
You're not gonna try and catch the arm and throw it back up again.
Just because it doesn't seem to do that much damage, she's like, oh, something else.
Yeah,
She didn't want to
reasonable.
lose her javelins, but now she's like, no, I'm gonna throw a javelin. So that's a 23 to hit.
Yep, 23 hits.
And my javelins are 1d6. Oh no, it's my hand exit. Yeah, 1d6 plus 4 piercing. So, that is a 10.
Okay.
Ah!
All right. He takes that hit, and that brings us up to Jitter.
Oh, man, I'm debating. I think Jitter would actually tell them because the druid guy can't really stop them from talking at this point. So Jitter's gonna walk over to the others and goes, 2 ideas. Want your opinions? 1, I make him not evil and he can tell us more about the situation. Or B, I throw him into a pocket dimension for a while. Which
Think we need
strikes
answers.
your fancy?
Well, I was thinking of floating him up a bit further and dropping him down. So if he goes to a pocket dimension, that won't be ideal.
I see. Okay. Okay. So if you're gonna do that, I could maybe I could catapult something at him if there's something under 5 pounds here.
I am!
Oh my god.
Could I technically
Try this, it's great!
could I technically pass one of my little furry animal balls to him to chuck?
You could
Have
do
like
that
a
on your
mid-flight
turn, yeah.
animal fight?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so I'd have to wait.
Yeah.
You could hold an action to like grab it off me and then
Okay.
do it.
But I can point at the arm and go, there's an arm, laddie, it's good for this.
Oh, Jitter just kind of looks at the bee and just goes like, I like the way you think.
Slap him in his stupid misty face.
And he actually makes a point to fly like not close enough for opportunity, but a little bit closer up to him as he goes for the arm. Just goes like, "Hi there," and lands by the arm using his movement, and then just magically preps the catapult spell and is going to catapult his arm at him because apparently this is the game we're playing now.
This is the game we're playing.
Okay, this is what heroes do. Heroism.
Okay, so you're catapulting the arm into him.
Yes, he needs to make a dexterity saving throw.
I don't think he has the opportunity to, because he can only
think
push
he can.
himself. Yeah, he can't really move.
He can push and pull, yeah. So it's up to you, I think, whether you give him like disadvantage or
I mean,
something.
he's just kind of floating. There's nothing really around him. The canopy is behind him, so he really doesn't have anything to push or pull. So he does not get that dexterity saving throw.
Other than his own projectile arm.
So that's gonna be 3d8. So that's 9 points of arm damage.
All right.
9 points of arm damage. Yeah.
So the arm goes flying up and smacks him across the other cheek. And Bolserno has been
Jitter just
slapping
kinda-
himself.
Jitter just kind of gives him finger guns and just goes like, "Oh, is this insensitive?" Because he's doing it with both arms.
All right. And that brings us to Azriel.
Oh my goodness. Can Azrael even function with all this that's going on? Okay, let's see here. So I've still got my levitate going.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna levitate him a further 20 feet up.
Okay. So he goes up to 40
and-
feet.
Yep, and then I am going to drop levitate, and he's gonna fall.
Amazing.
So you break your concentration on that.
Yep.
And he is going to use a legendary action to cast
Oh.
Featherfall.
Oh dear!
So he's falling down, and you see him kind of move his hands in a cross pattern, and he just kind of slows down and then lands on his feet.
Would I still have a reaction?
As far as like,
As far as after would I be able to counterspell at 4th level?
yeah, if you want to burn your counterspell, go for it.
I have 3 4th level slots, so it's fine.
You
I
might
haven't
as well,
touched
yeah.
4th level at all. So I do
Because
that.
it's been your
I just
turn,
let
so
him
I think
fall.
you've got your reaction back. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he crosses his arms and he
have-
begins to slow down, and then you cast that counterspell, and he just the rest of the 20 feet.
Good.
And he's going to take that damage.
That's just he looks over.
So he was
may not have been
he was
practical, but
40
it was
feet up.
satisfying.
He was 40 feet up because I did the levitate twice.
Yeah, he cast Featherfall, so he's actually only fallen 30 feet because he kind of floated down and then
Yeah,
he cast that.
floated a little bit.
Right.
Sure.
Alright.
So I think Jitter just looks at everyone and goes, "Was that the most pragmatic use of a 4th level spell? Maybe not, but gosh, was it satisfying."
Azrael gives you like thumbs up.
I love a good smash.
Alright. He's gonna pick himself up off of the floor with one hand.
Did we see how much damage it did him?
Do you want to know the damage? Yeah, it did 6.
Can we know that?
It did 6 bludgeoning.
Awesome. Yep.
All
One
right.
armed lift off the ground.
Maybe he's kind of struggling because he's not used to not having an arm. So he got.
I'd imagine that's a pretty new
He
thing.
still has an arm. It's just a little bit more detached than usual.
Yeah. So he's gonna stand up and he kind of reaches out his hand, and fire starts coming out of his palm in an arc. And I need you all to make a dexterity saving throw of DC. Where's the DC? Sorry. DC 15.
Okay.
Ooh, I have advantage on this.
Oh, 25 for me. Yeah,
Nice.
boy.
That'll be a
16.
19, and I'll use evasion to cancel that to 0.
Oh, nice. You're gonna need that.
17 for me.
Okay. So if you passed your DC save, if you got a 15 or higher, you're going to take half damage, except for
Okay.
Orphe, who's going to take no damage because evasion.
I'm also, when I'm raging, I'm resistant to all damage except psychic, so
You take a
it's
quarter.
like quarter damage.
Nice.
How much damage was it?
I haven't rolled yet.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so that'll be 31, halved or quartered or zeroed.
31.
8.
Because I think everybody passed the save.
Right. What was it in total? Sorry.
31, but you're going to either have it or quarter it.
Okay.
Excellent.
Is that the best you've got?
Oh! Out of frustration and the taunting, he is going to use a bonus action.
You wispy bastard!
So he casts that, and the flames come out, and you guys kind of like get singed a little bit, but you're fine. Out of frustration, he's going to put his hands together and spread them out, and the vines.
So it has plural?
Oh yeah. He's gonna put his hand together, and he's gonna. And the vines are gonna grow out of the ground, and he's doing spiky. What is it? Spiky growth. So everything is difficult terrain at this point.
Neat.
Trying to keep you guys grounded. You feel the tug and the pull of the vines at your feet. And that brings us up to Orphe.
Is he still floating, or has he come to the ground now?
He has fallen down, picked himself up, and then he's just kind of standing there without one arm and very.
And there's difficult terrain around you now.
Yes.
Well, I think I have unarmored movement. Does it change my... No, that's just, sorry, vertical surfaces and liquids. So yeah, I'm still hampered by
I think that just halves your movement, but as a monk.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
still pretty close to me, so it really doesn't matter. So I'm just gonna run up and engage him again, make sure that he's fully engaged. That so he doesn't. That'd be a natural 20 and 8 to hit.
Natural 20, yeah.
Hey.
So that'll be
Amazing.
28 points of bludgeoning damage. And I will spend a key for a stunning strike, so he can make a Constitution save, please.
15. Just a 15.
Oh, okay. I think he just misses it by 1, so he is stunned for a round.
Okay. Well, he is actually so stunned that, how do you want to do it, Orphe?
Oh. Well,
Oh.
At
I'm
28 is...
I'm going to hit him with the... well, I missed with the first one, then connect with the crit. And as he's recovering, I'm going to pick up his arm and just, like, golf swing him into his face. Casey Jones style from Ninja Turtles 1. And just...
That's pretty stunning, you know.
Awesome.
So you swing that arm up Casey Jones style, and it smacks him in the back underside of the chin, and you see his head like jerk back, and you hear the snap in his neck, and he just falls over backwards.
And I get my breath weapon back.
Nice.
And you get your breath weapon
Just
back.
Is
So,
he stunned or is he dead?
He is down and dead. He is not moving,
Ah!
and you are out of combat, so you're open to RP.
Nice.
Seeing all this this carnage with a loose arm and snapped neck, and I'm like, okay, well, better get the spirits up, pull the loot out again, and just start strumming like an after battle victory cheer, just to to get everyone's mental state, keep it steady there. Yep.
Woo!
This was only one half of the bad guys, though, right? Because there were 2 of them working together. So
Yeah, we've still got Ardiente to contend with.
So, can I? I'm not looking to loot, but like check him, see if there's any kind of clues as to what he's been doing, where his friend is.
Yes, you can, and you can
What you
roll
been
an
up to?
investigation for that.
I'm so bad at this.
Before you do,
Ooh.
my tune is inspiring you, so get bardic
Oh,
inspiration for this
is
one.
that a D8?
It's a D8. Yep.
Thank you. Oh,
I've only got one of those left.
Well, hopefully this will be worth it. Investigate. What to get a +1? Okay, so that's 23. It turns out I rolled quite well.
Well, keep that bardic inspiration for next time.
Nice. So as you're... yes?
Jitter's gonna suggest we chill out for a little bit, which is begging for a short rest because I am Squish Wizard.
Yep. I'm on board with that.
Yeah. So you guys are kind of sitting down and relaxing, Orphe, Azrael, and Jitter, as B is combing through these robes, and you pull open the side pocket, and there's a... it's kind of like a pocket watch, but it doesn't open.
Maybe one of the Elric brothers. Anime reference, guys. Okay, it doesn't open.
Yes. On the top of
Okay.
this, you see 3 lines that wave, and they're parallel.
Oh no, is this more water? I take it back to the more intelligent members of the party and go, now, I'm not exactly a tinkerer like some members of my fine species, so can one of you tell me what this little widget is?
Did you say tinkerer? Says the invention wizard.
Oh, here, have a look at this.
Okay,
I hand
he's
the watch
gonna-
to Jitter.
He is going to enjoy looking at this.
Can
Okay.
you figure out what
So-
it is instead of just appreciate it for its craftsmanship?
Oh
Please,
yeah, of course.
my wizard friend.
Would that be Arcana or Investigation?
Are you checking for magical properties or mechanical properties?
You know what? I think he's gonna start with mechanical, so investigation makes sense.
Yep.
So that's that is 21.
Oh, perfection. So as you're kind of looking it over and flipping it over, you find that there's a little, like, divot. And as you grab one of your tools and pop it in there, it opens up like a locket.
Oh, I would have smashed it. That's better.
On the inside of this thing, you find several little matches.
Ooh.
So we assuming that the little wavy lines could have meant fire.
Fire is another thing I don't like very much, especially not when it comes to forests.
Can I Arcana these maybe?
You can roll an Arcana check, yes.
18.
They do not appear to be magical in nature.
This
Ordinary
probably looks dumb
matches.
now. Like you just see him like use some like base magic to look at them. Just goes, or maybe they're just like matches, and I'm just stupid.
Are we just dealing with some arsonists? Is that all this is?
There's no
Oh.
magic imbued on these matches.
Is there? Did you check the magic on the locket itself, or just mechanically?
Oh, I didn't check for magic on the locket. Let me do that. 13.
You don't see any kind of magical properties or aura coming off of the locket.
So I guess this is just his match.
I
Locket?
guess it's just his matchbook. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's boring.
As you guys are discussing and looking at this thing, the orange glow past the archway gets brighter and brighter.
With fires encroaching.
We need to
Does
go.
it
and
look
put
like
that
we have
out.
time to finish our short rest before this gets to us? Okay.
I will, since I don't need to take the short rest as much, I'll let them rest and kind of venture out a little bit and see if the fire is coming close, and if it is,
Before you decide to do that, I'm thinking of doing something during the short rest because I've got
Oh.
Song of Rest,
Yeah, you got something
which
like
will
that.
heal people up a bit. So it's up to you whether you want to still do that.
I
and
didn't take
miss
a
out
hit,
on the
so
buff.
I am full health.
Okay, cool.
So,
All right. So I'll do Song of Rest. So anyone who's taking the short rest, it says if you or friendly creatures who can hear your performance regain hit points. But I guess it's if you're not taking the short rest, it probably won't.
The archway is close enough that he would be able to hear it approaching
Okay.
the archway, but he's full health, so.
Yeah, cool.
I'm gonna
so
follow.
you
I'm
get
gonna
an
storm off.
You get an extra 1d6 hit points basically from this.
Orphe, as
when you're
you're
regaining
as you're approaching the archway, it only goes back about 40 feet, and then it opens up again, and you can see the obelisk. And there's a clearing around the obelisk, and the fire has encroached all the way up onto where the clearing begins. So the fire has reached to the point where if it gets any further, it's going to reach the obelisk.
I will relay this information and express that time is definitely of the essence.
All right.
I'm rushing up behind you, and I believe I have like a flask of water on me.
Oh boy.
Check that.
So there's fire in between us and the obelisk right now too.
No, it's kind of a crescent in the far south part. So the obelisk
Right.
is on the closer side where the archway opens up, and then the fire is on the further south side of that.
I toss my water skin, the contents of it over the fire. Go away!
I will, as she's doing that, use my breath weapon to kind of cool the area down, or at least 15 feet and closest to the obelisk to kind of stave off the fire a little bit.
So as you use your breath weapon, you notice that it's close enough to hit the obelisk, and the obelisk kind of shimmers.
Can I investigate the obelisk?
Yes, you can.
I'm actually, yeah, I want to see what's going on with this thing.
That would make sense, yeah.
That is a 14.
Okay. So the obelisk is about 10 foot tall, so it's massive to you. And it has all kinds of runes to which you cannot understand. They're written in a language that you don't understand, but they seem to have a pattern that goes all the way up them. And
Okay.
yes. Sorry, hold on just a second. Yes, go ahead. Okay, sorry. So
All humans.
yeah, the pattern, it seems to represent elements, but that's about all you're able to discern.
Okay. Do I know if this obelisk like has to stay here? Like if it's got some kind of geographical necessity to be at this spot so it can work?
You, from your investigation, would discern that to move the obelisk would almost be an impossible task because of the amount of weight and how far down it seems to go into the ground. It seems like this is a permanent structure.
Oh, I'm pretty hefty, but it seems like it might be a waste of time.
I'll check it for magic.
Okay. What's your Arcana roll?
My Arcana is +8, and I got a 16.
Okay. So as you're looking into this obelisk, you see a faint glow kind of emanate from it, and you can discern that this obelisk is very, very magical in nature. And it seems to be very elemental and primordial.
Okay.
And you said you rolled a 17?
16 plus
16.
8.
Plus 8. Oh, okay. That's
Yeah, I have a +40
24.
intelligence. and my
24.
proficiency is-
Oh,
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, I was going off of the assumption it was a 16. I'm sorry. So
Sorry, I should
No,
have said the final number.
you're
If you had
absolutely
asked what my
fine.
Arcana was, and so I answered that.
You're absolutely fine. So you get that, and then as you're looking at it, you see this illusion kind of fade, and in the place of the obelisk, you see this massive tree, which seems to be what you're standing in the center of this tree, where this archway is kind of just dug out. So for a minute, you kind of see that there's a massive tree, and what you're standing on is like this root system, and branching out underneath you is this glowing system of roots.
Whoa.
are you all right, wizard man?
He's trying to think of a way to convey what he's just seen, and then he just goes, guess there's only one way to do this. I hope I'm not hurting anyone's feelings about this. And he's going to dispel magic at.
Okay, so as you cast Dispel Magic, the illusion of the obelisk drops, and everybody sees that there is this massive glowing tree that you're standing in this like dug out like archway in the center of it, and you can see the glowing roots kind of emanating almost for miles in all directions. The second it gets past where the fire is at, those roots kind of are like glowing red and like they're on fire underneath the thing, and it seems to affect everything you can see for miles around. Like these roots are all interconnected with everything.
Is it like
I think we need to
mycelium?
protect this tree.
I'm sorry, what was that, Orphe?
Oh, I said, is it like mycelium, where it's just like all the rest of the trees around here are connected to it too?
Yes, that's what it appears to be, yes.
So this tree seems to be maybe the heart of the forest.
Yeah.
I think metaphorically, I can't tell it to the group.
Yeah, I think it's probably good if we protect it and make sure that fire doesn't burn this one up.
Do we have any anti-fire measures? I mean,
I can slap it.
I can turn
I'm kind of
literally.
out of.
I can turn literally anything into cold. As long as it's an elemental, I can make it cold.
I would like you all to roll an intelligence check at this point.
Okay.
Sure.
Oh shoot.
That's an 8.
16.
18.
Oh.
Ouch. That's a nat 1 for Az. Wow. Did I hear an 18?
That was me.
Okay. Biba. As you're all sitting here and you're all talking about, the metaphor of the heart of the forest, you recall when you saw the obelisk that there were elemental runes going all the way up it. And you seem to recall that when the breath weapon hit the obelisk, it kind of glimmered. It kind of glowed. It glowed in past tense.
Yes.
Glowed.
Okay, it just
Glowed,
didn't
yeah.
sound right coming out. I'm like, that's...
And the breath weapon was cold, right?
Yes.
Jitter is going to cast the spell Lightning Lure and swing it in the air without warning. He's going to try to swing it in the vicinity of where the obelisk would be.
Okay. Into
And
the...
that would be lightning damage.
Okay. The lightning kind of and goes through the tree, and you can see the glow of not just the lightning, but it seems to be elementally affected by the magic and just kind of glimmers and as if somebody were to pour liquid into... not liquid, like an ink into your veins. You can see it kind of just branch into the tree and everywhere.
We can
Get
load
like that.
mental magic.
Do any of you have any earth magic? Or fire?
I have fire.
I've got matches.
I don't know if. I mean, isn't this what Bolsonaro was hoping for?
Yeah, I feel like water might be a better idea. I poured some on the fire. It didn't seem to do now.
It would be true, but we're talking about elemental magic. I don't know.
What happens? I'll be
Unless
back.
anyone has like create water. I
I'll
don't
finish
think.
it up.
Plus, it reacted the same way to lightning and cold. It seems to be reacting the same way to each element.
B does a minor illusion and creates a minor illusion of water. Will that do? Does that help?
It's not real, unfortunately.
It's a real, but it is a real effort. It was a real attempt.
I try my best. I'm not good at the magic stuff.
What if we were to focus the fire magic on the obelisk itself and try and not let it spread? I mean, if we're...
It sounds like you're saying let's set fire to this tree, which feels like counterintuitive, if I might say.
I think it's reacting to the magic more than the
Element itself, yeah.
the
I
element.
hit it
Yes.
with light.
Aye.
We hit lightning, and it didn't like get damaged in the slightest.
I think we have to do it cautiously.
I agree. Probably a very weak fire spell. Just very precise. He's going to cast like a very timid firebolt. The cantrip, the weakest fire he can do.
Okay.
Oh.
You cast that firebolt, and the tree seems to absorb it. And you can see again that the veins of the tree and everything just kind of pulses. And
Well,
I will notate that as that happens, you see the fire around the clearing begin to recede.
Maybe we're equipping the tree to deal with the troubles it's facing somehow.
it could be that. He then has an idea, and he's going to burning hands the tree by putting his
Okay.
arms around it and hug.
Oh! tree hugging. That's so cute.
It is a very massive tree, so you kind of get your arms around what you can of the tree, and you cast Burning Hands, and you can see the magic again kind of absorb into the tree, and the fire kind of recedes again, but it's not enough to put the fire out on your own.
Whatever you're
Listen.
doing, Jitter, I think it's working.
Yeah, but I don't have infinite burning hands.
Do you have anything more powerful?
So we've got to put spells into the tree.
I got one. It's gonna.
I know
be
it's
a
very
little
confusing,
weird.
B, but it's just the way it works, I guess.
He goes, I got one. It's gonna be a little weird though. And
Okay.
He, like, that dial, and he spins it to the fire symbol,
Mhm.
and he just goes, "Let's hope this works." And he's going to make a fire lightning bolt strike the tree.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. So yeah, you see that magic get sucked into the tree, and again it pulses, and you can see the fire receding a little bit further in that crescent arc. As you notice and you watch this, you feel like perhaps if you had some assistance from the rest of your party.
Right.
Put a hand on the tree. I go, well, I've not got much magic, but I'll tell you what, I'll sit at the foot of this tree for 10 minutes, and I'll do
Don't
a
you have
bit
the
of a. I'll do a bit of a ritual, because I have ritual beast sense, but it's not on self, it's a touch range, so I can just give the tree beast sense. I mean, like, see if this will do you any good, tree. But I have to sit there for 10 minutes being like,
As B is doing that, you notice
magic.
that it's kind of pulsating and accepting the ritual, and it seems to help when Jitter casts his spells. Azrael, what are you doing?
Yeah, Azrael's gonna rub light cantrip on her hands and like copy Jitter, like do the tree hug, like flatten herself against the tree with her light hands and like put them against the against the trunk and give it a good hug, and try and like infuse the tree with light.
Okay. Yeah, you notice that as you're casting that and everything, the pulsing, it accepts that, the veins kind of pulse, and the fire recedes a little bit further. Orphe?
Jitter, in between all this, is just lobbing firebolt after firebolt.
Yeah, I think I've cottoned onto the tree hugging thing, but because I'm doing like my ritual magic, I'm kind of like gyrating at this tree, like giving it my magic, like, please accept this tree. I'm sorry.
What's Orphe doing?
He kind of looks at the rest of you and realizes he has no magical prowess to help.
Oh.
So he kind of, yeah, he just follows B's
the magic of love,
and trepidatiously and kind of hugs the tree, looking really strangely at the rest of his group and whether or not he's doing this right.
Like we don't talk about this.
Yeah.
It's not right to make eye contact during this sort of thing, son.
No eye
Orphe,
contact.
as Orphe wraps his arms trepidatiously around the tree lights up in a bright light, and it just pulses, and the fire just kind of gets snuffed out. And then, and as it's pulsing, it just for miles, and then for even further distance, and you can see this pulse of light just emit, and the roots of this tree just erupt in light for miles out, and the red turns to white, and it just pulses and puts the fire out for miles.
Well, hello to you too, Duck. Was that a tree-gasm?
I told you the light was with us.
I didn't want it to be that with us.
If it saves the forest, I'm willing to do my bit.
Jitter's eye twitches, and he just kind of like thinks about what has just transpired for a moment, and just goes, "It was the firebolts. Let's all agree, it was the firebolts. It was loading it with elemental magic.
Yeah, stop
That
now.
was what did it. That's what we tell everyone."
Should I let go? Should I stop with my... my magic hips.
I'm sure the tree appreciates your magic gyration.
It's how I cast magic spells. I didn't go to one of them fancy schools. You learn. It's what feels right.
So at this point, for the sake of time, you have completed your mission.
Yay!
You have saved the forest, the sacred wilds, from
Feel a bit weird
Ardiente.
about it.
We don't talk about it.
We don't
It
talk.
stays in the forest. Happens in the forest.
Ardiente, for those of you who do not speak Spanish, is Spanish for fire. So you were just basically fighting the fire.
Nice.
And,
Clever.
yes.
We didn't start the fire.
We stopped it.
We stopped it with
We
magical
put it out
narration
with tree
and hitting people with their own arms.
Yeah, that's
So,
Everyone got in on that arm action. That was
fantastic.
Good,
Had we had more time, I would have let you wrap up and go back and talk to Krista, but it is 10:09 now, so we're going to go ahead and wrap up the stream. Thank you all for joining me. I don't
Thank
know
you
if
so much,
there's
that was the
you.
best.
anything else to mention other than donate. Please donate to
Save the forest.
rainforestalliance.org.
You don't
your
even
money,
need to
not your
do- You don't even need
gyrations.
to gyrate on the tree.
Gyrate while
Moral.
you donate. Gyrate and donate.
God.
So thank you everybody who played. I had a great time. You guys were a fantastic group.
yes.
Thank
for
you,
hosting.
Small Terrible
Yeah.
Dragonborn Party, for putting this all together.
So good.
And yeah, does anybody have any outros that they'd like to discuss? Anything that you're involved in that you'd like to plug or anything like that?
I'll let everybody else go first.
We'll start with
Sure.
B. Oh, sorry. Go
okay.
ahead. I was just going down the picture. I don't know
Yeah,
what
we'll
order
start
there.
with B. We'll go left.
I have nothing apart from donate to the Rainforest Alliance. Gyrate and donate.
Yeah, definitely donate, because that's the whole point of why we're here, having fun. If you have a chance, come join, check out our show at Basement Guild on Twitter, or www.thebasementguild.com for a 5e kind of homebrew actual play game that just a bunch of friends and I having fun playing pretend.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah, I have nothing further to plug than just save the rainforest, donate, woohoo!
As for myself, of course, donate. That's why we're all here. And like I said, you don't even need to do things in forests that you don't need to talk about this way. Isn't it great? But for us here, tomorrow at 8 Eastern Standard Time, we are running a game. I'm going to be DMing. Oh God, my first live stream.
You'll be fine.
It'll be great.
We'll be running for a special side episode of the Frostwalkers podcast, my 5e actual play podcast. We are hoping for it to be a good time. There's been a lot of thought and fun put into the session. Tomorrow I will also be playing Starfinder, which I don't know how to play, so you can come laugh at the fact that I don't know how to play Starfinder and donate your money while you do so.
Nice.
Yay!
And lastly, Sunday night at 4, I will be running the Clarifantasia one-shot for another actual play group. It is going to be called Little Bird, and it's about rescuing a baby phoenix from a Mind Flayer collector.
Oh,
Wow.
Interesting.
That sounds fun.
So that's what I got.
all right. I'm just going to wrap up with I am Joseph Timmis. I am with the Nerd Asylum, and if you are interested in hanging out with me or some of the other amazing community members, you might want to check out Dralicon.com. We host a convention, yearly convention, to celebrate our passion for tabletop gaming. So check that out if you're interested in doing something along those lines. Thank
Our
you.
friends from Awful Stupid and 20SA will probably be there this year.
Absolutely. They were there last year for year 1, so I think they're planning on coming back.
Mom uses it for what?
So,
Pipe dreams.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.